Remember, look over there.
What is going on, Unfiltered Truth family? We got a special night for you guys. Tonight we'll bring Jason in here in just a second. I am one of your hosts, Eric Smith. I'm with my cohort in crime, my co-host, James Shook. We have, this is our first time casting together, so give us just a second to turn down the volume. Thank you for that, James. So here we are. It is election night 2020. I'm Eric Smith. I am here with one of my best friends on the planet, James Shook, my co-host, my partner in crime, my dude. Here we are together for the first time live and in person. Give me some knuckles. Right. Here we are. We are actually here, so welcome for that. We're together for the first time since COVID. Not because we're scared of it, but because, this just happens to be it. So thank God for technology. First and foremost, thank you to everybody who's already tuning in. We already got some of our highest views going into this special. It'll be a little bit different of a format tonight, right? We're going to go in and out. Yeah, a little bit in and out. We're going to, as you see, we have the American chicken wings right here. And I'm currently cooking food, so we're going to be live kind of throughout the night and just kind of updating you all on what's going on. The first polls are closing now. So I want to bring in, first and foremost, one of our best sponsors, our first sponsors. Now let's bring in Jason, right, from Peach State Printing, right? Mm-hmm. Need to bring him in. So if everybody will look back here, what's up, Jason? How are you, buddy? Keep turning on your volume. Kansas City. I'll have to mute him until he turns down his volume. Turn on your volume for me, buddy. Or turn. Oh yeah, yeah. I hear what you're listening to. I'll turn it down for me. Yeah, here. There you go, Red Kingdom. There we go. All right, so what's going on, Jason? How are you, buddy?
Going good. Everything's going good.
Hey, I appreciate you being safe over there in your house with your Trump 2020 hat and your Trump mask on. F that mask. That's right. This is our last night on Facebook for many reasons. So let's talk about Jason for a second. We're going to bring in everybody, all our loyal fans tonight. We're going to bring them in, our loyal listeners, our loyal sponsors. Jason has been with us from the beginning. Jason is our guy at Peach State Printing in Hiram, Georgia. Jason is an expert in everything he does. Look right here behind us. You see our new logo, boys and girls? I'm about to share it. We have a new logo courtesy of this man right here to my right, Jason at Peach State Printing in Hiram, Georgia. I'm going to share you the new logo, and we're going to explain it, and then we'll get to what we're getting to. So right here, we're going to share our new logo. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jason, dude, this logo is unbelievable, sir. So thank you for that. So we want to explain a little bit about what's going on. Turn down your volume for me, buddy. So there you go. There you go. I'll meet you. So it's going to be a little bit different tonight. There we go. Meet him for just a second. So we're going to go over here to our logo. We want to explain what the deal with our logo is so everybody knows what's what with it. So, all right. Obviously, everybody that watches the show knows I was a police officer for a long time, 20 years almost. So we got the little nod to the blue line here. Super attention to detail by Jason for that. Thank you. The blue line on the mic. James, my guy, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. As many of you know, he was here in the first episode, right? Here in the first episode. And James explained the logo to me, the black belt logo, and what it means for everyone.
So this is our means of promoting self-defense right here, and more importantly, it's going to be promoting the idea of the Second Amendment. So we have a lot of those elements in our logo here. Like Eric pointed out, we have the blue line inside the microphone, which is most fitting, I think, due to the podcast theme that we have here. And
sure.
Unfiltered, it pretty much explains what we've been doing. I think most people would agree in the last few episodes we've been pretty unfiltered. And I know that I'm unfiltered most of the time. I think Eric, I can see him kind of scrunch up sometimes and wonder what's about to come out of my mouth. But
sure.
But no, I mean, I think the logo is extremely fitting. I couldn't ask for a better pal of mine to have created this logo. Jason's extremely talented designer as well as print expert, guys. So real quick, we'll throw that plug in here, guys. If you are looking for any printing needs, go see the guys over at Peach State Printing. That's Jason Thompson and the crew at Peach State Printing. That's peachstateprinting.com. You guys can look to those guys for any kind of needs that you have promotional items all the way up to vehicle wraps, guys. They do everything. And I even mentioned one time Jason might come do your dishes at your house. I mean, this guy, he's on it. He's everywhere. He does it all. And I mean, he's on screen right now. You guys can actually see his face right here. So
he's pretty. He's pretty.
What a handsome fella.
He is. So let's unmute you, Jason. I hope you got everything down. Hey, buddy, how you doing out there tonight?
Doing good, doing good. I'm really excited about tonight, and love doing y'all's logo. Love supporting, like-minded people like yourselves.
Yes,
and me and James, we've been friends since third grade. So
wow.
It's been a long time now.
Well, so we had right. So that's awesome. So a bunch of suggestions we had from people was, hey, you need to get away from the Punisher logo. You guys need to be able to do your own kind of thing. And, all these other things. And, dude, I came to you with the background of what James and I were about, right? In the first place, kind of what James did. James is my BJJ guy. He's one of the first people I ever trained with, just self-defense as a police officer back in the day. So I was like, hey, we kind of give you an idea of what was what, right?
20%.
I have to mute you again. Turn out, be careful with your background. So I had, I came to you with this idea, and this is what you came up with. It's unbelievable. Dude, the detail you showed, everything you showed in this, I think it really shows your skill set. Dude, we're beyond excited for this logo. We're beyond excited to partner with you. And, man, it really highlights everything between the detail from the 2 stripes for James's black belt, the blue line in there for me, the nod to me for being a police officer and all that. Man, dude, I'm stoked. I think it looks amazing. We even have it here in our background today. I'm super hyped up about it. So thank you for your detail and, frankly, your talent.
And obviously, guys, Jason can do Peach State Printing does logos. So if you guys have any Deanna for your marketing, what a great place to go to. And he's a pretty decent guy. So you guys should check him out.
Yeah. So let's get into the political stuff. So, again, tell your background and calm down just a little bit for me. So, Jason, what does this election mean to you as a business owner, as a person that's running a business, who's from a business? Kind of tell James and I what this all means to you, and we're going to get into some of the results already coming in right now about what's going on.
All right, from a business standpoint, you want somebody that is going to tax. It's so hard to make a business work. First and foremost, it's hard to make a profit. It's easy to lose money. So and people think you own a business, you're rich, but that's just not the case. I've worked more hours than most anybody I know for years and years and years to make a little bit of money. And so taxes are a big, big thing with a business. It can make or break a business. It's just, especially if your profit margin's not that great, if you have a smaller profit margin, taxes can kill you. So I'm looking for less taxes. I want politicians to stay out of my pockets first and foremost. I know I can spend my money better than they can spend it. It's the way I see it.
Yes, sir.
And so that's the first reason I like Trump, because he gave a tax break to everybody, not just businesses. Every American in this country is bringing in more money because of his tax cuts.
Yep.
And that's, if that would be enough for me, but there's a lot of other things that he's done that most Americans don't even realize. He's gave billions to fight against opioids and created programs for people that are, addicted to get medications that are expensive to keep them from relapsing. I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah, no, I know about that.
A lot of people don't know things like that. He's done a lot. He's done a lot in the first. I think it was the first 120 days he was in office.
Yep.
There's so many things that he's done that's benefited America that most Americans don't understand or know, because they don't take the time. All they look at is the headlines in the media, and they don't take the time to look it up.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with what Jason said more. There's so many accomplishments, and the more recent ones that everyone talks about is going to be the unemployment rates being extremely low. And we're talking pre-COVID. Of course, COVID's going to have its impact on things. But when you look at, Hispanic and Black unemployment, when you look at, women business owners, there's so many different categories that I think he's excelled in. And, he definitely doesn't get enough credit. The media doesn't give him enough credit for it. And it's good to hear directly from another business owner, local to where I'm at that feels the same way. And someone that actually keeps up with what's going on. So, I mean, this is going to be a landmark election here. And with any luck, we're going to see the tax breaks continue. We're going to see the any of the help that goes to the small businesses and corporate tax breaks. I mean, that's a big thing. A lot of people want to talk about, the 1% got the most tax breaks, and those are the guys that provide the most employment. These are the people that provide the most taxpayers into the economy in the first place. So, more power to Trump for what he's done with taxes. I couldn't commend Jason any more than, for bringing something like that up. And it's something that, like you said, it's something that's not talked about that often.
No, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, now because, you see these politicians saying, we're going to create jobs, we're going to create jobs. No, they can create policy that gives small businesses the opportunity to create jobs, or they can create policy that restricts us from creating jobs. But they actually don't create jobs.
Sure. So as a business owner, what is some of the stuff that really restricts you from going out and hiring somebody in your community to say, hey, I want you to work for Peach State Printing and I want to pay you X amount of dollars an hour? What hinders you as a business owner from coming out there and hiring somebody that you are around every day?
Well, I actually lost an employee from the previous administration.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a small business. We have 6 employees, but I still provide health care, and we always have. I've been there since 95, and we've always done it. So I continued that. I took over in 2011, and it started getting so expensive that one of my employees, his pay started going down so much because, I pay for half, they pay for half. The healthcare went up so much for him and his family that he had to go get another job. So I actually lost an employee from it. And when you get tax incentives, it helps a business owner create those jobs, to create that profit, to hire somebody else. And what people don't understand, when you hire somebody else, that's somebody else paying taxes.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to tax the business because you've got all the people that are paying taxes.
Sure.
But also making a wage. So I don't know.
Sure. No, I get it. So obviously you would want to be able to employ all the people you could. Sure.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to pay them a reasonable wage to where they're going to be loyal to you and stick with you for a long time. And obviously, healthcare is a huge deal. I've said over and over again, a lot of y'all can try to figure out who my employer is. It's not hard. And I'm thankful that my health insurance cost is super low. I pay $40 a month, right, for my entire family.
Wow.
And we are, when I say covered, 100% from top to bottom covered. Could you imagine as a business owner being able to offer that, right, to an employee and be like, hey, I can pay for your health insurance? Could you imagine the caliber of an employee you would have at that point?
I would love to be able to offer that because you get a better you get a better caliber of employee.
Yes.
The more you can offer, I mean, we don't work for the fun of it. We can stay at home and not make money.
No, none of us do. And
I'm glad he brings that point up because at the end of the day, that's
you're
what
a
it's all
millionaire,
about.
right?
So absolutely, because I own a business, right? I'm
Sure.
you're a millionaire. But no, at the end of the day, it's about making money. I mean, it's concerned about putting money in the pockets of their employees. They're then they're in it for the wrong reasons. I mean, at the end of the day, our economy runs off of the small business injection in this country,
Yes.
and if you're doing things that are going to stifle corporate, to be honest with you, it's a trickle down effect, right?
Sure.
And it's a reverse trickle down effect. It's not the trickle down effect that people talk about from from the Reagan era. It's where they're boosting the economy. It's the trickle down effect in reverse, right? You've got the corporations when they're stifled, then they're cutting back on employment. And these are the big corporations, right? That trickles its way down to small business, and then you watch your economy. It gets strangled, and it gets to a point where you start looking at recessions. You start looking at things that maybe be worse than recession, and at the end of the day, when you're creating tax incentives for larger corporations, which trickles its way down through its employees, which trickles its way down to the small businesses. And small businesses can also take advantage, in this case, of these same tax breaks and tax incentives. Then you're going to create a healthy economy that thrives. And the small business owners, the medium business owners, and the very extreme large corporation business owners, they deserve these tax breaks. They are the people that are the staple in the economy that drives the economic machine. And if you didn't have these tax breaks, you would have these multi-billionaire companies stepping away from it and not being as productive. And when you have that, of course, you're going to stifle the economy. And that seems to be exactly what the socialist plan is for the Democratic Party right now.
100%. So what a lot of people don't understand, and you get in this mindset that you want to tax corporations. They're evil, but they employ a lot of people, that make good money that what do you want to do? Do you want to tax them to where they have to lay off these people and then you've got to pay their unemployment? Or do you want to give them a tax break and let them pay these people? And
now, Jason, you nailed it on the head. That is exactly what it seems like they want to do.
Yeah.
They absolutely want that to happen, to stifle capitalism.
Sure.
And they, it essentially make everyone equally as poor. And
so it boils down to control then.
Absolutely.
They want to control you.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the easiest form.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So we're looking in. So apparently Donald Trump has taken Kentucky, which we were looking at earlier. It looked like Biden was going to take it. Trump has taken that. We have some votes coming in. Georgia is kind of 56% for Biden right now, 42% for Trump. But we only have 5% in. No big deal. I do not think Georgia is going to go blue. So let's talk about a couple of statements that Jason made. So, like we were talking about, James and I talked about earlier today how the liberals, I want to give shout outs to all our listeners, how the liberals vilify billionaires, right? So let's talk about billionaires that are way up here, right? Jeremy, that created the program that you made our logo with, right? So somebody who made the program that made this right here is probably a millionaire or billionaire. Fair enough, right? Helps you make money because of their creation. Is that a fair statement?
Innovation.
Yeah.
Okay. So those billionaires or millionaires create people that work for them, not just one millionaire underneath them, but multiple millionaires and $100,000
And what do these people do every year at the end of the year, come January of the following year? What do they end up doing? They pay taxes. These are the taxpayers.
So everybody vilifies all these people that make all this money. They're like, oh my God, you make, $3 billion a year. You should give away your money. You should be taxed 60, 70, 80%. Realistically in California, what, 60%? Right?
It's absolutely astronomical. I think it actually falls in about 48%, but they're obviously looking at
close
the low
to 50.
End of that, yeah.
Close to 50. And how are you going to operate as a billionaire in those counties and those states? You're not, right? So could you imagine if you were a business owner in California having to give away 50% of your gross income?
If I was anything in California, I would move to Texas.
Absolutely, which you see a lot of people are doing. I mean, there's an exodus, and
they're getting out of California. They're getting out of New York because the tax rate is so astronomical that it's silly.
Yeah,
nobody's going to do it.
I mean, you even see now in the media people as liberal and left leaning as Bill Maher has confronted Adam Schiff, I think it was,
yes.
In one of the interviews about the exodus from California. So it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
And these are things that are going to link back to the economic situation in the United States, right? If you're bringing in policies that are, strangling the corporations, that's going to trickle its way down into the medium businesses. It's going to trickle its way down to the small businesses. And at the end of the day, that big mighty evil that was the evil corporation that doesn't pay much taxes, they are actually paying taxes through providing employment to so many taxpayers. We're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of taxpayers that contribute to the economy.
Yeah, of course.
So let's get off that topic just for a moment. Let's look at some of the results that we got coming in here,
James.
And I know these are early results. They're actually starting to call some of these things. However, I know that we saw Kentucky here just a moment ago showing 8 electoral votes from Trump.
Trump's got it.
That's a flip, right? Kentucky would be a flip.
Yeah, they were blue last election. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Huge deal. Hey, Jason, watch your background for us. I muted you real quick.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy, one of our OGs, original listeners, I should call you an OL. Howdy, brother. How are you? I know you're listening tonight. You said you're smoking a stogie and drinking some whiskey with us. So, huge shout out to you, Jeremy. Christina, my cousin. Hey, girl, what are you doing? Hey, how are you? Thank you for always being super loyal. John Stahl. Hey, Jason, this is for you right here. Driven along with a mask on. Love you, Jason. So I hate on you a little bit for having a mask on with being by yourself, but I get it. At least you have the Trump mask on. Good for you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna point out just for the audience's sake that obviously Jason knows that. John knows that Jason is being sarcastic with the mask, but it also is a really good ad placement for Jason to put that mask on. So obviously we can see where Jason's vote went today.
We print masks.
It was not blue like his mask. It was probably red.
It was probably red because he likes making money and providing for his family. So there's that. Let's go to the next comment. We are getting killed tonight with comments. Lizzie Kilgore. I don't remember you commenting before, but hello from Buchanan, Georgia. I used to hunt out there, so now how it is. U.S. Yep. Strong symbol and prayers. Love you. So thank you for listening. We love you, pro-life, now and forever. So shout out to you for being a good American. Amen to that. I hope you're still listening to us right now. Jeremy, Jason, control your background volume. Yeah, we do that.
Well, I can throw this out there. Lizzie Kilgore is a really good client of mine. Her family has entertained my gym for years. So
shout out to Lizzie.
Yeah, so I want to give a good shout out to that, and appreciate all the support.
Yep, Christina, I will definitely get you a new logo for the T-shirts. The T-shirts you sent me are super comfortable. We're going to link you here a little bit later on in the podcast. You are an absolute gangster at printing out stuff. Christina Lamb, Jason Thompson is master of his craft. Second to none, I highly recommend his business. Yes, I would agree. I've done business with P State Printing long before the podcast. Little did you know, used to do my banners for baseball. So you're amazing. I appreciate that. So thank you.
You guys got to stop beefing Jason's head up here, man. It is swelling. I can see it.
I hear you. Jason is the man, though, when it comes down to it. Eric Hogan, one of our most loyal listeners that does not care what trolls have to say. Fox says Orange County, Florida has over 100% turnout. Going great so far. James, how do we have over 100%?
Yeah.
Voter fraud. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah. I would be interested to see what's going to happen once they go to an official investigation into counting those up. But, Fox says so, right?
Yeah. So that's what they say. So Orange County, over 100%. That makes complete sense. Trump still, Kentucky is winning. He is crushing Biden, which is fantastic. Aaron, what is up, girl? Hey to you as well. So, North
Cobb Spine and Nerve, guys. All right, so we're going to throw a sponsor slot out right here. That's going to be North Cobb Spine and Nerve. If you guys have any physical medicine or chiropractic needs, you should check out the ladies up at North Cobb Spine and Nerve. That is located in Ackworth, Georgia, corner of Highway 41 and Mars Hill Road. I believe the web address is going to be northcobbspine.com. Of course, I knew that.
Yeah.
Northcobbspine.com. Again, if you guys have any physical medicine or chiropractic needs, they're very similar to Peach State Printing. They do everything under the sun as well as far as your health goes.
Yep.
So check out the ladies up at northcobbspine.com. And then we also, I think we have a couple more sponsor slots here.
We have everybody. So let's shout out All Weather Construction.
So we got to go to All Weather Construction, guys. If you guys will check out All Weather Construction, that phone number is going to be 470-519-6988. You can contact Steven over at All Weather Construction. The guys are ready to do any kind of renovation or upgrades that you need done to your home. Again, that number is going to be 470-519-6988, and you guys can reach out to Steven again for all of your needs over there.
Yep. And then talk about Chantel, chantelcreations.com. So all our normal backgrounds and stuff we have in the back, they're awesome. So she has created all the flags. She actually did a huge flag for my mom's birthday. Super talented at everything she does. So thank you to Chantel for being the original sponsor of the podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And then, obviously we have all the other sponsors we've had. So to everybody here tonight, we appreciate everything you've done, that you've been with us. We will be moving off of Facebook after tonight and going to our normal podcast location, which we will share later. So we will be a little bit more unfiltered tonight than normal. And we will have a lot of things to say to Facebook about how we feel about the bullshit that they pulled on us. We went from 50,000 viewers an episode or so to about 200. It's not because we suck. It's because they don't like conservative voices in America.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where we're at with it. So that's where we are. And we'll get to some more comments. We'll get back to bringing Jason on. So let's see. Man, we have a ton of comments tonight. Holy cow. Yep, we already talked about that. Eric. Yep, we talked about that. Aaron, David Scott. Good evening to you, David. How are you?
Yeah,
so obviously David's one of your guys.
So you can see that David's one of our guys. He's also an extremely he is a enormous 2A supporter. David probably has a gun collection like most people would dream of.
There you go.
And I really appreciate David's knowledge in the weapons genre, as David has weapons from every era you can think of. He is a big-time collector. He is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to weapons, and he's an extreme supporter of the Second Amendment. We appreciate David. And David's been with me for a long time. He's one of my brown belts at the gym. Real good guy. Like I said, once David and I started talking about guns, it just kind of snowballed from there. And he has quite a collection, and it's a guy that I go, we tend to train a good bit together. We shoot together a good bit. Appreciate David being out there for us.
Yep. As always, shout out. He said, David. Melly says hello, Professor Shook.
Hey, there you go. There you go. So Melissa Hogan, guys, I'm going to go ahead and throw her name out there. She is one of my most talented blue belt chicks in the land. So if anybody's looking for a super fight against an extremely tough opponent, Melissa's always ready to take on anyone at any time. So I'm sure Eric would absolutely verify that information.
Yeah, 100%. Chad, I see you in there. About to add you to the stream here in a minute. It is about to get super real in this. All right. So, Jeremy, yes, sir, just got in for work. It's happening in Texas. Christina, what exactly is happening in Texas? I would like to know. Is it them trying to flip the state blue? What is going on? Tell us. Is there riots? What's what? We're going to get into that in a second on what's going on in Georgia, the intelligence we have. We'll bring Chad in for that. Christina, again, taxation is theft, 1,000%. If the twins calm down, I'm able to jump on with you guys. Yes, Jeremy, let me know. Text me or James. We'll get you hooked up on the stream. Husband's busy setting up attack vests and gun belts in case anyone was wondering what we're wearing to the Civil War. So we're going to get to that in a second, right? So
Absolutely.
That could happen tonight.
So we're going to talk about attire in just a few moments. We've actually got somewhat of a format of a program that we're going to have here in just a few moments.
We're just kind of spitballing, right?
Yeah, we wanted to get the all of the improv out of the way early on, and then we can get down.
Here we have Tactical Jeremy. He's going naked with a battle axe and greased up. Good thoughts. Nothing to grab onto. Yeah. You can kind of squeeze by things, right? With your battle axe, you're good. So, Chad, I know appreciates the battle axe, right? Nod your head. Yes, he does. He's nodding in there in the background. Christina, and this shit is heavy. I'll be super angry and not liable for my actions if I don't wear gear long periods of time.
Yeah,
I agree. Ounces are pounds. Pounds are pain. It sucks ass.
Absolutely.
So there we are. So, all right, let's add Chad the absolute undisputed era to the stream. Chad, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
You're a fool. So James had to go take a pee. So here we are tonight. So thank you for being here, brother. How are you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Mowed down some panda, trying to see what kind of shit show's going on.
Yeah, a little bit of shit show. So for everybody that doesn't know, Jason, I got you unmuted now. I think it keeps muting you over and over because it says they chose to mute themselves. So we're going to unmute yourself. Anyways.
All right.
So what, Chad, as a employee of a business that is very highly involved in commercial trafficking and stuff like that, what does this election mean to you as a person?
Well, lower taxes obviously are better for economic growth as far as companies not having to lay folks off, being able to pay their employees a little bit better when they're not getting dicked down by the government.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like my money. I think everybody else likes their money too.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to keep their hands out of my pocket, they're the ones that I'm going to run with.
So that's kind of who you're going for overall, is somebody that's not really going to hammer you on taxes and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so does it really matter, Democrat? You're not like hung up on the whole blue-red Democrat Republican. It's more of who's going to look out for my family, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't have a team. My team is the people in this house. So whoever's going to benefit me, I mean, that's the direction that I'm going to go.
Sure.
Where is she?
So, let's take this real quick. So, President Trump is absolutely smashing Florida right now. They got him up 67% in Sumter County, which is a southern part of Florida, to Biden's 32%. So, that bodes well for a Trump win in Florida. Oh, now we're getting to 70. So, he was 70% in 2016. So, we're getting there. So, what are your thoughts, bud?
Now, I had a question actually for Chad. I was going to ask him. So, if Joe Biden had one thing that he could say that would make you respect him more than you already respect him or not respect him, what would that one thing be?
I mean, is this a rib?
I will not smoke you.
I mean, the guy. He's like your grandpa who sits on the couch shitting his pants. He doesn't really know what's going on. So other than that, I'm sure he's a nice guy. But I mean, the direction that they want to go and with his choice of, VP.
Sure.
Let's be honest here. As soon as Biden if he does get in, this is going to be a Harris presidency, right? Because he's not going to last very long. Either the scandal's going to take him down with what's going on with his kid and all this other bullshit, or the dude's just going to up and die. I mean,
fair enough.
He's not there. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be beneficial really for anybody. And you got a lot of folks who are going to go against what's really good for them. That's the Democratic tagline usually is, why are you voting against your interests? But I mean, I agree with that too. But
so Lizzie, spot on. Something Biden could say to everybody to make them respect him. I quit.
What a perfect answer.
Tap out.
What a perfect
I'm
answer.
sorry. I'll catch you guys later. Yeah, that kind of deal.
So I have, again, down here at the bottom of the screen, and then I have my best friend. He's been my road dog since middle school. Over here to the right, we have Jason Thompson. He is the CEO, Presidente, the man, the myth, and legend behind Peach State Printing in Hiram, Georgia, who did our logos and stuff for us. Jason, as a business owner, what could Joe Biden say to win your vote?
Whoa.
Whoa.
You're going heavy. What could he say to win my vote?
Yes. What could Joe Biden say to win your vote?
I guess most of the things that Trump says.
Yeah, which is what? Like, what's your biggest thing that Trump does versus Biden? Come here, bud.
He actually does what he says.
That Trump does versus Biden to make you vote for him from a business owner standpoint.
Trump ran on a platform and tried to do everything that he ran on.
Yep.
I don't think any president's done as much as he ran on and actually did.
Yeah.
And I mean, because number one, he's not a politician. He's rich. He can't be bought.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. I mean, I think this was something everyone was looking for a decade now or more. I've heard many people talk on both sides of the aisle, as recent as 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, about how they just wanted they wanted this alternative candidate. They wanted this non-politician. They wanted this outsider that could actually come into the White House, challenge the status quo, challenge the swamp, so to speak. And try to get things done for the people. And with the policy that you're seeing him put in place, this is exactly what happened. And of course, I think the reality of it is that no one really expected that it would happen. And once it did happen, everyone backpedals and says, "Oh no, that's not what we really want." But I find it pretty amazing. I heard that from a lot of people for years and years and years, and these are some of the very same people that pretty much got what they wanted, and then turned away from it.
Well, I think they wanted a nice guy to do it. Somebody to come in and smile and blow smoke up your ass while they were doing it.
So let's talk about that. The nice guy. Thank you, Braden, for your mask. Here's my middle child, Braden Smith. Yep, with your Trump 2020 mask on. He bought that with his own money because that's what we do over here in capitalism households. Daddy didn't get the money. You bought it with your own right.
Raise them right.
So thank you for that, buddy. So, all right, let's give a shout out to my mom, the matriarch of the Smith family, Chad, my kid, and my grandkid. Life is good.
Oh, hi, Helen.
We've got the original gangsters on the same exact podcast together at the same time, so mom can watch us both together. So there you go. And cousin is constantly replying to things. I checked your messages. Your uniform is awesome. You are ready for what you got to do tonight, so you do that. So, Braden, you're good. Thank you, buddy.
I have to say something.
Oh, he's got to say something. What you got to say?
So technically, if I put my name as Joe Biden in Among Us, I won't get voted off because no one will vote for me.
Whoa! Dropping a little culture reference. He dropped the knowledge. So good for you, kid. He's been raised well. Just saying, I raised him. So, yep. So here we go. Let's talk about what happened. Let's talk about the conversation we had earlier today. I'm going to get Jason Chad's input on this. So I talked to a gentleman today on the phone who is a paid protester for BLM. He is paid. He has been to Louisville. He was paid by Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. I have proof, but I can't share it because of who he is. I don't want to dime out our source. That he was paid to go protest in Louisville. He is paid to do all these things. He actually attended an Obama rally for Biden yesterday, and he is voting for Trump. I found that very interesting.
Yeah. So this is a left activist who had a last minute flip for the red. And a very interesting story here. I mean, this one baffled me quite a bit. Is it
because they didn't pay him?
Oh, wait!
Because they didn't pay him.
Wait till you hear. No, he is paid. Here's the thing. So Jason, Chad, everybody else out there watching, here's why he voted the way he did. So I heard this from my coworker who happens to be black. He said, my nephew voted for Trump. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, your nephew, who's a BLM protester who protested the Breonna Taylor shooting, excuse me, burping, we're drinking tonight while podcasting, it's okay, voted for Trump. I said, well, why is that? And he told me. So I was like, you have to call your nephew on the phone. I need to talk to this guy. So he calls him on the phone. I'm like, hey, man, I'm curious. Why did you vote for Donald Trump? I really want to know because you're like the opposite of me or James or anybody else I know. Why did you vote for him? Trump doesn't lie. He may be an asshole, but he doesn't lie. He is good for business.
He seems to shoot straight off the hip, man. Very straightforward.
He's good for business and keeps them funded because, if there's no drama, he's got nothing to protest. And he was like, I like the dude. He's legit.
Can we hold that thought one quick second,
Sure.
guys? So we have some information coming in. Kentucky, Mitch McConnell has won re-election in in Kentucky and will remain the Senate Majority Leader here, guys. So that was just called a few moments ago by Fox News. we'll look for some other references and resources to see if they can confirm that call. But as it stands right now, it looks like Mitch McConnell with a demanding lead over McGrath, I think it was. So Mitch McConnell retains the majority speaker in the Senate.
Yep, and it looks like Trump has won another state. I'm gonna have to go back. I think it was West Virginia he won, which he hasn't. Which Republicans haven't won in a while. He's won Kentucky by a large margin, which has always been blue. So very interesting. Trump wins Kentucky, West Virginia. Biden takes Vermont and Virginia.
Wow. And Trump is holding a 70 almost % lead here in North Carolina, guys. This is amazing. All right, so I don't want to stump Eric up too much here. We'll get back to what he was talking about. So we were right at the point where we were talking about Trump was, Trump was just honest and a straight shooter, and so this guy who's an activist decided that at the last minute he better cast his vote for something that has some substance to it.
Yeah, he was super scared about being able to vote for Trump because of his race, and he's afraid that he'd be vilified by his people for what he decided to do. And he told me basically Trump, is legit. Trump is kind of doing God's work. Trump is doing all these other things, and he's like, how do I not vote for the guy because Biden has done nothing but kind of keep my people down, right? That's what he said. He's like, Biden has done nothing for black people over 47 years. And Trump in 4 years has done far more for us than he has, and that's why he voted for him. I appreciated it. That after that conversation, he was like, hey, can you look out for me? Can you escort me throughout the night? Can you be sure I'm safe? He's so scared for his well-being because of how he voted that he feels like he needs to leave the state. So
wow,
there we go.
That's very telling of the Democrat Party, and that's very telling of the scrutiny that you're placed under just because of the belief system that you have or your opinion. And we've talked about this before on previous podcasts. I mean, this is an ongoing problem, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down.
No, it doesn't. So, Chad, how are you feeling about this election? Who do you think is going to win and why?
Man, it's hard to say because I think you do have a lot of folks like the guy that you're talking about, and not for any kind of racial issue, but they might be a little bit worried about the rest of their family around the Thanksgiving table, or I think you got a lot of shy Trump people out there, because when you're looking at how much money that you still have in your pocket, I don't know anybody who's complaining about having extra money in their paycheck. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours who used to go 100% one direction.
Yep.
But the older that you get, the more you realize that your life really doesn't change too dramatically from president to president. Just because, there's so many other checks and balances and all the bullshit and all the fighting in the Senate and the House. So it's almost impossible to really actually change anything too drastically. But I lost the train of thought there. But things just don't change.
Taxation would be the number one thing a president can change.
Agreed.
We lost. I wasn't a big fan of Bush, but we lost the Bush tax cuts as soon as Obama come into office. That was a good amount of money on everybody's check, $100, $150.
Sure.
That's the biggest. I think that's the biggest thing a president can do is tax you more or tax you less.
Yep. No, I think you're right. I kind of think the president sets the tone. In a second, I'll read a post from one of my friends on Facebook who actually used to be a politician. He was a county commissioner in the county he used to live in. I think he kind of said it, kind of where I think we need to be as a nation. But yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people are scared. What's my paycheck going to look like? How I'm going to be able to provide for my family. That's all a big deal, right, James?
Yeah, these are the things that affect the ground level individuals, and when you have someone, in this case, for over the last 4 years, you've had a president who's addressed those actual things, and it's just something that you're really not used to seeing. I think everybody looks for these really big policy changes and things like that, but it's the, like Jason said, it's the smaller things that really affect the ground level individuals. And Chad spoke of it in the past. Presidents really, they didn't seem to affect, your life too much when they came in and out. I mean, because of the other checks and balances. And it seems like we're starting to move into an era where it really does have an impact. And it's because I think over time, I think the left has just really become very extreme in the policy that they're pushing. And the Republicans have their flaws too. We're not going to sit here and say that they don't have any flaws, but at the same time, Republicans seem to always keep some certain modicum of capitalism, in mind. And we're seeing this, progressive push. And, again, it's exactly what Chad said earlier. It's in the past, it didn't seem to affect you too much. Nowadays, it seems like it's becoming much more substantial in your life.
Yeah, 100%. So, Chad, I'm going to shoot this one to you. So, what does it mean for you if Biden takes over as president? How do you think your life is going to change?
Honestly, my life personally, I don't think it's going to change too much.
Yeah.
If he pushes through his tax plan, we're all going to be missing some money, which is not ideal. It's not great. But as far as any, drastic type of situation, that's not something that's really going to affect us, and the policies that he's going to try and push, and the agenda that, like James was talking about, it's getting a little bit more progressive than it has been in the past. But that's something that's going to move to affect, your kids, your kids. We don't have kids, so long term, it's not really going to be, that big of a deal for us, I guess. But I think with the woke culture that we've got going on, I think that's going to get a lot more extreme, which, that's more of a nuisance. It's something that's annoying for me, but it really doesn't have that much effect on me. So,
right.
I'd like to see, things keep going the way that they have been, as far as the economy before the pandemic hit, before they shut everything down. But if we can keep going down that path, I think that's better for everybody involved. But, I just don't. I'm not the kind of person that buys into the whole doom and gloom if the other people win. You know what I mean? Like, one team wins, the world's coming to an end, tomorrow. I just don't think that's the case. And I think a lot of people now, they're looking at it as a team sport. With the NFL and the NBA, MLB, and all the rest of it in the state that they're in, and especially once social media kind of came to prominence, you got a lot of people who they put themselves in these echo chambers, and they get each other, each team's getting themselves worked up into a frenzy about, oh, well, if this guy wins, this is going to happen, and they're going to ban this and ban that. The other people, they're all doing the same thing, but let's be honest. How much do you think your life's really going to change if one guy gets in?
Not much.
Over the other.
Well, we can talk about one thing that's probably going to change for myself, and one of those things is just how much pride that I take in the Second Amendment and weapons, and our ability to access and obtain, certain weapons, we'll say, that seem to be on the list for the Democrats have on their list or their agenda to try to remove from us. And the Second Amendment would be an extremely that's going to be extremely important as far as decision making goes with any policy that a politician is pushing forth. I think Jason would probably agree with me on this one. It's again, in the past, you would have tons of checks and balances that these things have to go through. I think Biden's speaking pretty boldly about a lot of executive orders and things like that really they really put handcuffs on you from a Second Amendment point of view. And we'll get your thoughts on that, Jason. Because I know there's some talk right now about banning high capacity magazines and really things that don't keep anyone safe. They really have they're not really founded or grounded in any real substance. They're just talking.
A lot of it's laws from the 40s, 30s, and 40s, sawed-off shotgun or short barrel rifle. It's the same caliber. if I shoot you with a pistol or a short barrel rifle, it's the same caliber. And like there's a bunch of laws on the books that are meh. I get it when they did it, but
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's a little
you're
past that
absolutely
now.
right. I mean, when we're
But-
talking about the difference between, you know, a 14-inch barrel and a 16-inch barrel, or we're talking about the difference in being able to shoulder a gun versus being able to hold it at the hip. I mean, these are, you know, and braces, I think, are a big thing right now. And there's, you know, almost 5 million of these, you know, weapons in circulation already, you know, with the ATF rule that's in place right now. And that's subject to change as well. And so, I mean, these, you know, I could really see, I would like someone to explain to me how the public becomes safer because of any of these gun laws, especially the, you know, we have tons of existing gun laws, but the changes that they're talking about making, they seem to go directly after law-abiding citizens, and they really have no effect on the safety of the general populace. So, you know, that's just my thoughts on it.
Well, there's already law against murder, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, you're telling these people who are already breaking the law to the highest degree, they're going out and they're killing people. And you're trying to take away tools that a small portion of people actually use to commit the crime. I mean, you need to go a little bit further with it. It's almost always a mental health issue, right?
Yeah.
Where you got a bunch of sick people who are getting their hands on weapons. But, you know, again, if you wanted to kill somebody and you didn't have a gun, is that going to stop you? Or are you going to say, oh, it's illegal for me to own the gun, I'm not going to do it? I mean, you see it.
There'll always be another means, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing it in places like London where, you know, they're knifing people on a daily basis, or, you know, in France where they're running people over in box trucks or whatever they can get their hands on. You know, the Atlanta Olympic bombing, right? I mean, there's multiple ways to go about it, and just because you say you can't use a gun doesn't mean it's going to stop anything from happening. So,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't know.
Looks like you had something to add to that.
Yeah, you don't need a gun to kill people. You can look at Europe. They're doing it with knives. Africa, they do it with machetes. I mean, you can fill up a super soaker full of gas and kill 20 people if you want. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
it's not a gun problem. It's a people problem.
No, it's absolutely, it's a people problem, and I think the reason the politicians don't want to label it as a people problem is because that's not a problem you can solve, right? I mean, it's very difficult to change people's mindsets, but it seems like that, you know, the shackles are always put on the law-abiding citizen in these instances, and I know that, you know, that's probably a very cliche statement at this point, and a lot of people use that talking point, but I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, it exists for a reason. The shackles are put on the law-abiding citizen to restrict them from having guns. And Chad kind of referred to it a moment ago. Who obeys the gun laws anyway? I mean, the law-abiding citizens do, right? It's not, you know, criminals don't obey these laws. I mean, like, I think it was great. I've used that exact same talking point before that Chad used with, you know, murder's illegal. I mean, it's already illegal. Everybody knows they're not supposed to do it. So why aren't people still doing it, right? So if laws actually work to prevent people that were going to do, you know, very malice acts against the citizenship. I mean, it's just, you know, it's such an absurd thing to think that we're going to tell everyone that this gun all of a sudden is illegal and no criminals are going to have them anymore. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. And I think they understand that it's absurd. There's obviously another agenda to it.
Well, I mean, they can, you know, they're creating new jobs. They're going to send people door to door to go pick up everybody's guns. So
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I hope that happens, man.
part of the
I've been waiting
stimulus
for that
plan,
for
I
a
guess.
long time, actually. I've been training for it.
Yeah, James is seeing the Room of Freedom. That would be a hard sell for a lot of them. So we have the next polls closing in 1 minute, James.
Yeah.
So
So this will be Central Time Zone, I guess, is closing up. Are we at 8 o'clock hour? Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're just
8
approaching 8 o'clock here. You know, I'm really confused at this Fox ticker that they've got running at the bottom, and it's in several of the instances it's showing Trump like way ahead in certain states, but they're calling it for Biden already just because he secured a certain amount of
Virginia.
yeah, I mean, like right now we're showing 59 to 39 in Virginia, but they've already actually called Virginia for Biden. Do you guys have any insight as to why they would be doing that?
Well,
I mean,
because
that's a pretty major
they're
gap.
they're showing, like what you're talking about specifically with Virginia, 17%. What they're doing is they're looking at their county map, and they're forecasting based off of where the votes are coming in versus how they voted in the past, right? So
Sure. Okay.
if the only votes they've counted are traditionally Republican counties, then that's where they're at. The percentages are just where they're at right now, not where the entire state's going to shake out based on historical data.
So this is pretty good. I want to backtrack. I think it was to it may have been Kentucky even, but we're talking a 30% lead where it's already been called for Trump. But I mean that's a pretty amazing stat right there for a blue state, right? To go red that far. I mean, if that's telling of anything that may happen in the future here with the other states, I mean it's really looking good for Republicans.
Let's talk about Florida. So Florida, 81% of the
precincts are
precincts
reporting,
ran.
yeah.
Thank you. And Trump was up by like 0.5%. So this kind of goes back to my prediction. Chad, you've seen it. James, you've seen it. I think ultimately this election is going to be decided by the Supreme Court because of cases like this. I think it's going to come down so much to these mail-in ballots that it's just going to cause havoc. I would like to know everyone's thoughts that is joined in on this cast of how you feel that's going to go. Jason, let's start with you. How you think this is going to go on the disputed states? I saw Florida as being one.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio will be one. I said
Georgia looks like it's going to be one.
Georgia is going to be a battle
ramping
state.
up for it. Yeah.
So, what is your thoughts, Jason? Go to you first, and then we'll go to Chad.
I didn't get the question. The dog was barking.
You're good. So what's your thoughts on how do you think this is going to work out with the battle states like Georgia being one now? Georgia's a battleground state, period. It is. Ohio is very close. Mm-hmm. Florida is like a cunt hair close. It just is.
0.2%.
So how do you think this is going to play out?
I mean, me personally, I think it's going to be just like Hillary. They talked it up. The polls. Sure. Hillary was supposed to destroy Trump, right? I mean, everything I said, Trump didn't have a chance. So I think it's going to be the exact same thing, maybe worse.
Sure.
I just don't. I mean, I get people don't like Trump, but I don't know that anybody likes Biden.
I mean, you bring up a good point there.
I mean,
you bring up a good
might
point.
want to
Actually, there was a statistic up earlier for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it. I really don't. But I mean, I guess we'll see shortly.
Yeah, only time's going to tell at this point. But yeah, it's very interesting how they calculate these things. I mean, we're looking at Florida right now. Trump has a 0.3 lead. 49.7 to 49.4. I think Florida's going to go red. They're showing Georgia right now the exact opposite, 49.7 to 49.3 for Biden. I do not think Biden will turn Georgia. As a matter of fact, they had an interesting stat up earlier. They showed that Cobb County, Trump had about 16% of the vote and Biden had like 81%. I would be extremely suspect of that number in Cobb County, Georgia. That just does not sound right whatsoever.
60% and 81%. That on
81 to like 16 or 81, or, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
No, that's not shocking at all when you consider Kennesaw State and how big that university has gotten.
Right.
So, I mean, when I moved here back in '90, so everything, it's not the same. It's just not the same county. It's not the same city that it was back then. I mean, it's not a shock. We'll leave it at that. It's not a surprise at all.
Yeah, it's so we're seeing some stats come up right here. It looks like Trump has been declared the winner of Tennessee. Biden's been declared the winner of Delaware. Of course, that's no surprise. Yeah, and then we've got Virginia, yeah, it's like, I mean, Trump is killing him right now with the precincts that are reporting, but they're still calling it for Biden. West Virginia looks like Trump's going to win West Virginia. They're calling that already with 5% in. Apparently, West Virginia is a very red state. And then Florida, again, we're just Trump's barely leading in Florida, but there's 82% of the vote in. So that's going to be one of those battleground states. And I think that Eric was asking you about is, you know, how do these get decided right here? Are we looking at a Supreme Court decision? Obviously, we're going to have to wait for the mail-ins to be done.
I saw something that said Biden he's got 4,000 lawyers on standby in Florida in the event of a recount being a necessity.
Wow.
So, I mean, Florida's going to wind up being, it's going to be a mess. So
yeah, they're going to drag that
sure.
out. Yeah, they're going to drag that out for a while.
All right. So what do y'all think? Do you think we're going to know something tonight or not?
I think that you're going to see a predicted or a projected winner. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I'm gonna be very bold right here and throw my prediction out here. I think Trump wins this election by a landslide. Still, I think there's a possibility Trump could turn some states that in the past would just be that would be considered an absolute no way that it could happen. But I mean, I might even be mentioning California in that mix. This is going to be an interesting election by the time they're done counting. One of those reasons being that COVID was really something that exposed, I think, a lot of these left-leaning states. People like to support what they think they like to support in Democrats. But they don't like to be locked in their homes, and they don't like to be able to not go get food and not go get the necessities. And I think it's going to be really telling to see what happens in some of these very left-leaning states tonight. Even if Trump doesn't win them, I'd love to see the actual numbers, the vote numbers, as far as the popular vote goes, because these are going to be. It'll be very telling as to where where some of these citizens sit in the idea that do they really see that the policies that their administrations are putting in place, and these could even be local administrations like Gavin Newsom over in California. I want to see where these citizens stand with what's being done on a local level, and it could be very telling tonight with the presidential election.
Yeah, California is a tough one.
No, it's extremely tough, honestly. I mean, like that's why I think it would be so surprising just to see. I mean, even if he had a 10%, upranking, we'll say in California, I think that would be something major to look at for the future.
Yeah.
I mean, you think California to be sick of the Democratic policies that they've been under.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Exactly.
You just think they would be just completely sick of it and vote different, but I guess we'll see.
Just move. They do a Rogan and they move to Texas. And then,
Thank you. We talk about Rogan moving to Texas. Oh my God!
And then they keep voting the same way that they've always voted.
Yeah, no, I mean they're like a virus. They're going to move to another area and they're going to vote in the exact same policies that they ran from until the place becomes so overrun with the same thing that they'll just move somewhere else.
All right, so let me ask you this: if they all move out of California, do we move in? How's that work?
Hey, California is a very nice place. I'll give them credit for that. California's land front and geography is extremely nice.
If it wasn't for the earthquakes.
There's that.
I mean, I'm down for 70, 80 degrees all year long.
I mean, you could find some pretty ideal climate out there, but it's just the rest of the shit. It's like my wife's from Chicago, so it's like it's a nice city. It's just the people who ruin it,
Sure.
Same deal with California.
Sure. So it's interesting to watch these guys on Fox News. They're like tossing up Ohio here like it's just going to flip to blue like so majorly all of a sudden. And I don't really see that being the case. So.
No. So there you go right there. 57% in one county, Hamilton County, Ohio. So I think it's pretty liberal. It's 57% for Trump right now and 40% for Biden. Warren County, Ohio, 57% for Trump, 41% for Biden. Not looking so good for the old deranged guy. So,
I like Alabama here. 0% in. Already called for Trump.
Well, I mean, let's be real. Let's not be fake.
Connecticut,
It's probably
0% in, called for Biden.
I could probably call that without knowing it.
Now, I like that they do it the way that they're doing it because I can't wait to see the upsets happen by the end of tonight. And that is probably not even going to be even remotely resembling the upsets it's going to be by, let's say, another day or two when they have all the official votes counted. So,
What news channel do you have it on?
We have it on Faux News, aka Fox News, because I can't do.
Yeah, all right. We're gonna need some MSNBC or some CNN to really watch them cry. Come on.
I don't know, dude. Fox News is trying to pitch this for Biden right now. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
So
Purdue looks
a lot
like
of
it's
people
people
off.
off right now, which is great in Georgia Senate. I think that's fantastic.
Warnock's winning. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting in Georgia. Georgia's kind of screwed. We're gonna have a runoff in January, so it looks like. So that'll be super fun. So Virginia has somehow been called for Biden, even though it only has 38% of the vote.
Yeah, we'll
I
see if that
don't
holds up.
understand
We'll see if that holds
How
up.
that happens. West Virginia called for Trump. So 5% of the vote again. I don't understand how you do it, but like Chad said, I guess you get certain areas of the state, and you kind of know how it's going to go.
So the numbers have just
Hillbillies
changed in
there.
Florida to 50 to 48. Trump
is
in
winning
Florida,
big.
and they have 85% in.
Georgia, here we go, Trump.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, Trump's going to carry Georgia, and he's going to carry Florida easily. Looks like
Barack Obama territory, he's
definitely
going to
not worried
lose.
about that. Yeah,
No.
he's going to lose Illinois for sure.
Yep.
Indiana is
Looks-
always going to be a solid red state, or at least maybe for the next couple of elections. But,
Illinois, yeah, we knew he's going to lose that. Your wife's home state, Biden is winning. Chad?
No, Illinois, no, they don't vote for Democrats, do they?
No, they didn't vote for Obama. Indiana's kind of a dead heat. Kansas, I'm going to call that a dead heat right now. Another 2016. Yep, I think, Christina, you're right. I think it is another 2016. We have a big comment from Jeremy Massa. A ton of people are ready for Biden on the sole ideal that I hate for Trump. Yes. No insight of Biden's policy or real history in his politics. Facts. There's one ridiculous things I've witnessed in my adult life. No real knowledge or candid that what they're voting for, which is why I think you should have to pass a test so you have mental capacity in understanding of who they're voting for. Jeremy, I get you, buddy. I do. Chad and I have had this conversation multiple times, right?
Yeah, they even have a website that you can go to. I can't remember what the name of it is, but all it does is present you with all the issues that are going to be, what the platform is, right? So
Sure.
it just asks you questions. It doesn't tell you, whose stance it is. It just asks you a question and gives you multiple choice. So you just go through and you can click as much as you want.
Yep.
And once you go through enough of it, you can hit submit and it'll pop up and it does the work for you. It'll give you a breakdown with a nice little chart and the whole nine saying you are most in line with this person, whatever the case may be. I mean, that might not be a bad way to go, just in general. So just take the test, and then that way it'll go. Because you got a lot of people, man. It's like we were talking about before. It's turned into a fucking team sport.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
baby.
People are like, I'm red, so I'm only going to vote that way. I'm blue, I'm only going to vote that way. And you got. It doesn't make any sense, but I mean, it is what it is, and that's why you don't leave it to a popular vote.
yeah.
Facts.
Guys, we're gonna let Jason hop off the line here, and we're gonna let him get back to his company. He's got some sexy broads over and some.
Yeah, I got all these fast
and
crazy women.
I hear Justin Thompson might be floating around that house over there. So
Hey, that's a try. Hey, come over here and give a Trump 2020. He's embarrassed.
all right. All right, well, we'll let Jason get back to it. Hey, man, you guys be safe tonight. You guys stay up, watch the election. We may get back to you later if you want to jump in.
All right, brother.
I'll throw you back in.
Love y'all, Trump 2020.
Yes, sir. Thank you for everything you do for the podcast, brother. Thank you for the logo. What Chad has been on the ones, hey, you need to brand your own logo. You need to make it happen. And here we have it right here. Finally, we have a real logo that is just us and no anybody we have to report to, right? So thank you to Jason Thompson.
Yeah, man. Peach
Peach
State
State
Printing,
Printing.
guys. PeachStatePrinting.com for all your printing, promotional, like I said, vehicle wraps, obviously, logo design. They do pretty much everything under the sun. Go
Wait
check
a minute,
them
you
out.
said vehicle
Hire them.
wraps, huh?
Yeah, they do vehicle wraps, bro. And he's right around the corner from you.
Yeah, I might have to get those infos.
I will send you the digits for
Yeah,
Mr. Jason
absolutely,
Thompson. Peach State
absolutely.
Printing, you can find this from
So-
us. Justin, my dude, my guy, one of my premier trainees back when I used to be the police. Why are we saying farewell to Facebook, James? You want to talk about this? Do you want to address it? Do we need to talk about it?
No. Why are we saying farewell?
Because Mark
Well,
Zuckerberg's an
All
asshole.
right, I'm
right?
gonna go to a text that I have right here, and actually, I'm gonna have to go log in because I'm getting a text right now that says, "Hey, you guys still live streaming?" Because if you are, they just took it down.
Oh, Chad, they took us down.
So hang on, I'm gonna go check this out and see if it's down.
All right, so let's go. So, all right, so let's talk about why are we saying farewell to Facebook. So, Chad, let's talk about you watched the movie, the documentary, The Social Experiment, right?
Wait, I was checking the stream. It's still up.
Yeah, it looks
So-
like we're still good. Okay,
Okay.
we're still good. Yeah,
So maybe
I'm seeing
somebody
we're
else
still
has
good.
some internet issues. So
Yeah.
we're not going to go conspiracy theory. So, Chad, you watched The Social Experiment. Let's talk about what you learned from watching the documentary. How
Yeah,
did
we
it?
need-
You texted me and said, "Hey, this changed my thoughts." Explain to everybody why.
I think we need to ban assault social media.
Assault social media. Explain the definition. Just like I had information bukkake as being overwhelmed with information to where you can't handle it.
No,
Hi,
I mean,
Shannon, I see you. So, anyways, hi, Shannon.
hey, wave to the camera.
Hi. What's up, girl? So, explain to me explain to me the
Well,
movie.
the Social Dilemma movie that we watched the other night, it had a bunch of engineers who worked for like Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook,
Yep.
this and that, and the whole deal is it's a documentary and it's kind of got a little fictional story playing out in the background of it.
Sure.
Where all they're doing is they're monetizing your data. So
Yep.
everything that you do, and this goes back to, we just found out a couple months ago that Google, even in incognito mode, is still recording
Sure.
all of your search terms, all the websites that you go to. Basically just building databases on every person, their habits, the type of content that they like to see. And they're selling it to advertisers for however much money, this and that. But they're actually going to where was the school, the college, where they're running courses on it was like psychological marketing on how to basically get you addicted to social media, to the like button, to this or that, to keep you going down the rabbit hole. They just keep pushing different information and whatnot. Oh yeah, wait. No, I was looking at your buddy's deal. I'm always thinking about stuff to do to the car. So
Sure, of course. Yeah, the little stanger. I got it.
yeah, it's crazy, man, how much data that they keep on everybody and just how sinister it is. And I get it, everything needs to make money. But, at the beginning of it, it said something, the guy said something like, there's only two industries where, customers are referred to as users, and that's social media and narcotics and drugs. Drug dealers
Sure.
refer to their people as users as opposed to customers. So I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, I get it. Like there's, some, level of, account that the government or whoever else is keeping on you. I mean, hell, when we're born, we're assigned a number, right? So, some of that stuff you just can't get away from. But,
Right.
I just don't know if I like the idea of just, being part of, being a commodity for somebody where I'm not getting anything from it. But,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you're feeding
Yeah.
them a bunch of data, making them a ton of money because they can kind of figure out who you are and how to advertise you. And and you're not making shit, right?
Well, no, and that's it. And you kind of saw in the little fictional part of the movie where the kid's life was going down the tube because he wound up getting caught up in a lot of political type videos that he was watching on YouTube. It's basically like folks like the Hodge twins or Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro and whatever else.
Yep.
Where they just kept shoving this content at him to keep him watching, as part of his feed, so they could just keep pushing more ads towards him, right? But what they were talking about is, if I'm going to a search engine and I start to type something in, I'm not going to see the same results that you might see or my neighbor might see, because everything is becoming catered to you to keep you addicted and keep you engaged, so they can shove more marketing and shove more ads down your throat. So, that's kind of, it's a problem. People they're forgetting how to interact with people now. They're so used to just scrolling through their phones and, hitting the like button and see if anybody's making comments on their posts or this or that.
Perfect. So that segues very well on what Lizzie just said. So social media is an addiction for a lot of people. So people like Chad, people like me, people like James, we have different ways we feel validated, I guess, throughout our life. So like Chad, me, James, as long as our significant other, our immediate core is cool, we're good, right? Like we don't have to post stuff on Instagram, Facebook. Oh my God, I got 100 likes today. I am so awesome, right? Versus other people that are like, they have to have it. Sure. Or they don't. And yeah, Lizzie's 100% true. It is like, Chad, you hit it perfectly when you said end users. Users. They're like drug addicts. Oh my God, you didn't like my post. Do you not like me? You have a family member who we've talked about before that will repost things multiple times trying to garner more likes, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you put something up and you don't get enough engagement on it,
what
do you do? You got to put it back up.
I'll give you one. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, it's been probably several years now, I stopped answering the Facebook suggestion for someone's birthday to write something on their timeline to say happy birthday.
Yeah.
Because if I forgot one of them and I had wrote happy birthday on someone's timeline and then not the next person, and whether it be a friend of mine, a client of ours or what, not a user, but a client of ours or whatnot, it would become a deal like, oh, well, he doesn't like me or what. So now I just send happy birthdays through like a personal message. And if I happen to see that Facebook reminds me it's someone's birthday or whatnot, that I'm not really, I'm not saying I'm not familiar with them, but I just don't keep up with their birthday and know all their ins and outs of their household. I will go to them personally on a direct message and I'll say happy birthday. But I've gotten completely away from the public wall happy birthdays because someone's going to get their feelings hurt. And I've actually lost customers over things like this. It's something that seems to, take over someone's life. And, I just never really cared, what somebody else really thinks that much. I don't really get that, why someone thinks so much about what someone else's opinion of them is. In some cases, they value someone else's opinion of them more than they value their own opinion. And to me, that's just always been extremely odd. So I'm looking at you, look out there, everybody out there, looking at you guys. Why do you care what everybody thinks about you so much? It's extremely weird.
I wonder how many relationships have failed because, for anniversaries or birthdays or whatever the case may be, there wasn't this big public declaration on their Twitter, Facebook, Instagrams, whatever the case is. We knew that couple who would sit there in the same room next to each other, texting each other or messaging each other on Facebook, as opposed to just looking at them and saying what you had to say. Right.
Yeah, that's like, Janelle and I joke, my wife, for those of y'all that don't know her, James and Chad know who she is. So, like, I joke around, like, around our anniversary or birthday or whatever, like, hey, happy birthday, babe, love you. Didn't put it on social media because I actually love you. And, you have these people that have to, like, post these things publicly. Oh, babe, I love you. You're the best. Blah, 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 making themselves look perfect. It's ridiculous. It kills me, and it is ridiculous. Shocking. Joe Biden won Delaware, his home state. So, anyways, James, pick it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, so we've got Alabama
Trump's
called
winning
for
Florida.
Trump, even though there's only 3% of the vote in.
Trump's
That's
winning Florida.
you know, that's pretty extremely amazing there to me. But Georgia, so he has actually gone up about 4 points in Georgia here. It's only 19% of the precincts reported, so there's a long way to go in that race. And again, that could be one of those even further battlegrounds that we'll see later in the evening or even into the rest of the week. Obviously, Indiana's been called for Trump. But no, getting back to the social media thing, yeah, I mean, it seems to be something that is, I enjoy getting on and flipping through the homepage. I'm not going to lie, I flip through the homepage and I check stuff out, and
Sure.
and Facebook does a really good job of trying to cater that homepage to my interest. I mean, they've collected a lot of data on me and everyone else over the years, and they do a really good job of it. So it does tend to keep your interest. And so I'm not knocking anyone that, likes to be on their phone for Facebook and, seems to be buried in it because they're scrolling through their homepage. But again, I'm looking at you guys out there and wondering why you care so much about what other people think about you. To be honest, your opinion matters most about you so much more than anyone else's opinion does. So that's my advice to you guys out there. Start feeling better about yourself and making yourself more of a priority than the people that's on your Facebook friends list. And we'll leave Facebook at that.
Yeah, Jason, I actually want to hear something you said. So I got in. So there was a debate going on Facebook the other day between one of my more conservative friends and a couple of liberal friends that I have. And one of them is an IT guy who is hyper liberal and said that he is disgusted with the way that Facebook and social media has gone. He can't believe the amount of censorship that's happened. He can't believe the amount of things that are going to quell people's voices. And even him being a hardcore left guy, he's like, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Social media is not what it is anymore, right? Chad, you and I have talked about this. People need to be validated because even let's use James and I as an example. If we only allowed people on our podcast and only allowed people to comment who are conservative and things like that, we're in our echo chamber, right? We need to be validated. Oh, we're only going to let, Jeremy and my mom and like all these people comment that love us and never debate any opposing views. Last episode, we allowed a more liberal view to come on and had a debate with them, and it was cool. Everything was good. And yes, Lizzie, you're right. Socialist media is more of a saying for it than social media. Wow, Texas is not looking healthy right now. It's amazing. People need social media to feel validated in who they are as a person. And Chad, I'm interested what do you think this is doing to our kids? You're not a parent, you don't have a kid, but what do you see this doing to the generation coming up nowadays?
Well, that's one of the things that they kind of touched on during that social dilemma piece was they said the suicide rate in teen girls since 2010. Shannon put something up about this.
Yeah, that's all right.
I mean, that's a pretty dramatic increase in young girls killing themselves, over cyberbullying or sitting around looking at what the Kardashians are doing, going on vacations and shit like that. What a lot of kids now don't seem to understand is, Twitter, Facebook, it's all a fucking highlight reel.
Yeah.
That's all it is. That's not real life. I mean, you're not seeing the warts and all, of what's going on the day-to-day in somebody's life. I mean, you're seeing a highlight reel.
Sure.
So, these girls are taking these photos, they're running them through 15 filters like that shit with Joe Rogan, where he come out looking like a hot chick.
Yeah, exactly. Rogan looked like a hot-ass girl. Sure.
So these little girls are looking at this shit, and then they're looking at themselves in the mirror, not understanding how, they're going to age and grow and fill into their bodies or whatnot. And they're getting actually depressed by this bullshit to the point where they're going to kill themselves. So, not only that, but, you got a lot of people who are really good at sending you text messages, emojis, that, making nice little posts, but you get them in a room or at a table across from you, and these people don't know how to interact with each other anymore. So
Yeah.
the problem is when they're looking or in a social gathering situation, they don't know how to talk to each other anymore. So, these are problems that are coming up, your kids are going to have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is the guy who used to be the CEO of Pinterest or whatever, he said all social media is banned in his house. His
Should be.
kids are not allowed to have any of it. That's how this guy makes his money. So
Right. He knows
if-
what's up.
if the people who are building this and making a living off of it know what a fucking cesspool it is, they won't even allow their own kids on it. Then why the fuck should anybody else be on it?
Exactly, and it's funny you say that. So I went to a local grocery store right by my neighborhood tonight, and a cashier, when I was checking out, was like, "Hey, what do you think is going to happen tonight?" And I told her why, and she's like, "Huh?" And my reasons for why were this, exactly what you said, and hit what Justin is saying right now. So many people will go to the internet, right? It's easy for me to sit behind here and type a comment or something to somebody and say, "Oh, you're a piece of crap," or "You're this, you're that." And I can close my browser out and shut my computer screen, and there's no consequences. When James, when any of us grew up, if you talk that trash, there was consequences to pay, correct?
Who said that? Mike Tyson said, social media or keyboard has made a lot of people real comfortable with talking a lot of shit without fear of getting punched in the mouth.
Me and James are talking about this.
Absolutely.
James has a student who spells his name the wrong way. Eric with a K, we'll leave that out. A former student who just on social media, but never talked trash when he was in person. And you have so many people now, they use social media to make people feel like shit, to talk trash, to hide behind. And there's no consequences. And that is where we're at in America right now. And it's very unfortunate. Looks like Donald J. Trump is winning Florida because South Florida has reported in and Trump is currently winning. So that is a good thing.
Did that say Biden's winning Texas?
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's hopping kind of around. Trump's up 2% in Florida. Sound rate 2.2 with 88% to go.
I think he's up 5 or 6% in Georgia, though.
Georgia, he's crushing, dude, 14% in Georgia,
Wow.
which was a battleground state. Illinois, he's losing. We kind of get that.
Yeah,
No
that's obviously
problems.
gonna happen, so.
Indiana, Trump. Let's keep going. What's the next state? Come on, faux news. Next state, Kansas.
Kansas, I think, is going to go for Trump. They were calling it earlier for Trump, and now it looks like they've backed back out of
Iffy.
it. So.
Kansas is iffy. Kentucky, Trump has won
Kentucky,
by a
yeah.
large margin, which he won in 2016. All right, next state. Let's keep going. Maine, my birthright state, 66% for Trump, but they're calling it for Biden. Don't know.
Less than 1% reporting already.
Yeah. Massachusetts,
now-
super shocking, has gone to Biden. Northeast stronghold.
Trump wins Arkansas.
Michigan.
Michigan.
It's Michigan.
Trump
He's
is
getting-
crushing
Trump is
Michigan.
Crushing Michigan. Yes, I mean that is a
Mississippi,
that is
they've
a
already declared for
massive
Trump.
lead. So those electoral votes, if you look over to the right now on Fox News, guys, those electoral votes are catching up pretty quick.
Biden won
And,
D.C., Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Delaware, Connecticut, Illinois, Maryland, and New Jersey. Nobody expected Trump to win those. President Trump wins Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, and Oklahoma. No surprise.
Yeah, and guys, we want to be clear to everyone out there watching this. There's a long ways to go for this. I think they're going to have to redo some of these they've even called at some point as well. And that's just because of the climate that we're in this year. I think there's going to be some states that Trump's actually going to take over that were not quite expected and may not go the traditional way of voting county per county. So we'll have to see how that develops. But
Yep.
some of these numbers are staggering with the amount of precincts that are reporting, and they're in Trump's favor, even though in the past they've been called for the Democrats. So we'll stay tuned to all of this and keep you guys up to date with it.
Christina, you're right, 100%. My cousins, Texas has been turning purple. Yeah, I see what you're doing. Lately, Californians moving here and thinking they can get a great life and realize they have to work for it and say, no, They just want the handouts and Dems promised them. Me and Chad have talked about this probably a million times via text message or conversation. So many people were like, oh, California sucks. It's overpopulated. It's overtaxed. It's this, is that. I'm going to Texas because there's more freedoms. And then they vote for Democrats, right? It's insanity to me. Like, you leave a state and you try to turn your shitty-ass state, California, into Texas. Or Texas
So you're talking about Texas right now, right?
Sure.
So 47% reporting. It's a 50 to 48, and that is supposedly is for Biden right now.
Crazy.
In
Should be
Texas,
90
I
to 10 for
don't
Trump.
think that's going to be the case, though. I think later on you're going to see that significantly increase.
Well, they've only counted Austin and Houston, probably, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, they say 47% precincts reporting. So
That's probably, yeah, if you think Austin and
Yeah.
Houston, that's right in Dallas,
Mhm.
probably the biggest populations.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So not a big surprise.
No. It's, and again, you got polls closing in 25 minutes in Arizona, Minnesota. With
88% in, and Trump's going to win Florida.
Trump
guys.
is going to take Florida,
Trump's
which is
gonna
a
win
huge
Florida.
deal. Trump is going to murder Georgia, son. He is up 16% currently in Georgia.
Trump's leading Georgia. Just
Illinois,
keeps
he lost
expanding.
by a lot. No surprise again. So let's go to the next state.
So we're moving into mountain time now, right? So we've got
Indiana. Trump won.
Yeah, so we've got 9 o'clock. We're going to have mountain time being closed, and then we'll move into Pacific time.
Kansas
after
is
that.
iffy.
So I do like
Iowa-
the popular vote, though. The national popular vote, Trump's winning. Obviously, we haven't got to California yet. However, it is nice to see that we're moving into the mountain time frame states, and we're still seeing that Trump holding the lead in the popular vote. So.
Well, so today, Iowa was your home state, Mr. Chad, was deemed as a battleground in a crucial state for Trump. We have no reporting from Iowa.
Yeah, I haven't
Currently.
seen anything really from Iowa. I haven't seen very
Nothing.
much of it.
Trump is currently crushing Michigan
Man, he's
by
killing
18%.
Michigan. Yeah.
Mississippi, he is projected to win.
And they talked about Biden not needing Michigan and not needing Pennsylvania and not needing potentially Florida, North Carolina, and Texas. And I think that's absurd to think of that. I mean, I don't see any other way to victory for Biden other than winning at least 3/4 of those states that I just pointed out. So that is going to be very interesting. And we obviously know that California is, a heavy electoral state, and so he's obviously going to win those electoral votes.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean that can be easily overpowered by those 5 states that I just mentioned, and for his campaign to come out to, just honestly a couple of hours ago and make a bold statement like we don't really need these states. I mean, that's a bold statement.
Yep, they've got Biden winning Ohio right now, which is kind of a big deal since the only president who's not won Ohio and been elected since 1940 was John F. Kennedy. Trump is currently losing, so that's a big deal. Trump is currently getting spanked in Pennsylvania.
So it says. I mean,
So it
Pennsylvania
says.
is going to be the big one, and that's going to be the talk of all the fraud. I mean, so they've already, this. I don't think Republicans or Democrats are debating that too much. I mean, there's going to be investigations. There's going to be recounts, whatnot, in Pennsylvania to see what really happens there. So it's really hard to hold Pennsylvania to any kind of.
Trump is
standard.
currently up 1 million on the popular vote. Dude, I want James said.
Oh, was he up to 1 million?
1 million
Yeah.
roughly. He is up just in Florida alone 200,000. So he should win Florida.
Oh yeah, wow, yeah. He's 450,000 ish. He's up.
Wow, he's even more than that. Oh yeah. So it's getting interesting out here.
Bit of a shock that Biden took Pennsylvania by that much, considering the bullshit.
Right.
about,
It actually happens that way.
Yeah, I don't think they're calling that though yet, right?
They
They're
haven't
not
called
calling
it yet.
Pennsylvania.
No.
Yeah, I think they're just reporting like a very minimal amount. So.
At this point, it looks like Trump won Arkansas 80% to 20%. Is it going to be 80-20?
No.
Right. Yeah, probably not.
I mean, that's Clinton's home state, right?
Connecticut, Biden
Mhm.
barely won. Delaware, Biden won by a lot. Go figure. That's his home state. 80-20. Trump is now up 200 250,000 on the popular vote just in Florida alone. Georgia, Trump is beating Biden, which was a dead heat by 14%. Illinois, again, no shocker, Biden winning.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago is really the only thing that matters in that state.
Yeah.
Of course. we know
Indiana,
where
again,
that's gonna
nothing
go,
by
so.
Iowa. Iowa is what, Chad? Educate
So
me.
let's talk about Chicago real quick, and because I think doesn't he have some insight on Chicago here?
Yeah, he's got some family over there. Yeah, some family.
So I mean, Chicago, just what a rat's nest of a place to be, and to continue to vote for Democratic leadership. I mean, and I know this is the general election for the presidency, but I don't see anything changing in Chicago as far as their local level government goes. And just, I mean, how long can a state go just being such a rat's nest and it just continue to go that way? I mean, are the people there just that dumb, or do they not care?
I don't know. I think it just goes back to team sports, man. People pick their team and they're loyal to their team. And especially now where, you got to signal how virtuous you are by, how you vote and the things that you're going to engage in. So I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, you don't have a lot of people in good situations out there. Obviously in the inner cities, and that's kind of like that everywhere, but it's not very prosperous. It's not safe, but people just keep on, the same way that they've always gone, and, hope that things change.
Man,
Sure.
I'm just blown away that anyone voted for Biden. I can't even fathom that mindset that someone would vote for an old senile man
Sure.
that can't put together a sentence. Like this
Along those
is
lines-
amazing that this is even happening, that we're even having to have this discussion.
Let's
Like
extend
there's
that
a
out.
lot of people out there that are just, I don't know what world they're living in. I mean, Pennsylvania, they're saying 78-19. We know that's
crazy.
absurd, because they're not calling it, and there's only 6% of the precincts reporting. But still, I mean, man, I hope there's not that many dumb people
So
out
here's
there.
what we got: Florida and Pennsylvania, two swing states, too early to call. So probably by tomorrow we'll know. Trump is increasing his lead 250K, right? 260, 270 in Florida. So he's going more and more in the front. South Florida
And what's
reported
really
first.
good about that stat is they seem to be moving towards South Florida as they're doing it. So
Correct. And Trump is still continuing, so that looks good for the Trump train. Texas, currently Biden is winning. No big deal. They've called it. Virginia has called for Biden, even though 39% to 58%. Don't know. Again, going back to Chad's earlier analysis, probably because they have counted the conservative counties. And they got all
yeah,
Democratic
they're
left.
just anticipating that.
Sure, Alabama, again, Trump's losing, but they've called it for him, less than 1%. They know something we don't know.
Man, Alabama's really slow at counting votes, man. I know that.
Go figure. Roll Tide.
It's been hours that counted less than 1%. And Alabama's not that hot.
So here's the interesting thing. We have had nothing from your home state, Chad. Nothing from Iowa. Nothing has come in. So they are an hour or 2 hours behind Georgia. Tell me.
An hour.
An hour. There has been zero data from Iowa to come in. What do you think the holdup is?
I have no idea.
Do you think Iowa
No idea.
right before they reported?
What's that?
Or what, you grew up there, so what's their mindset? Or are they
Well, they've always been a little more, I guess, socially liberal.
okay?
I mean, they haven't really been, at least to my knowledge,
Sure.
extremely conservative. But
Right.
that's why it was a bit of a shock, because they went with Obama, the 2 years before,
Sure.
and they
Sure.
went with Trump last time. So I don't know. I'm trying to check a buddy of mine on here,
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
see if he's saying anything about it, but I don't.
Yeah. Check with him and see what the deal is in Iowa. Why are we hearing zero data from Iowa? It's a swing state. We've heard nothing. Fox is posting nothing. If anybody's on another website and sees something from Iowa, please let us know. Alabama people running out of fingers and toes to count on. Yes, Justin, that's very hard for them. I get it. Trump is crushing Biden in Michigan by 20%, which is a huge deal, James. Mississippi, Trump won. That's kind of surprising to me. Missouri, Trump is winning. No shock. Oklahoma, we know Trump won. If anybody didn't know, the only state in the union that voted 1,000% Republican was Oklahoma last election. North Carolina is up for grabs. New Hampshire up for grabs. Still, they initially called it and uncalled it. New Jersey, no shock, going for Biden.
Yeah, and so I've seen this twice now, at least two specific times. I've seen where it was called and now it goes back. See, Ohio was actually it started to be called earlier for Biden, but I still believe Trump wins Ohio. So if they're getting to these kind of numbers right here, it can't be who voted today, right? I mean, obviously it's going to be the votes that they already had lined up in the system that were mailed in, that were early voting, things like that. So these are looks really good for the Republicans. I mean, the Republicans have to feel pretty confident being in this position that they're in right now, as being expected that more conservative votes are going to come in at the actual walk-in voting on the day of.
So here we go. Again, I'm sorry, I'm checking comments and stuff. Sorry to jump around. All right, Florida and Pennsylvania presidential races too close to call. Vermont for Biden, no shock. Virginia, Biden. Okay, that's a little interesting considering Trump is up by 40% or 30%, and they got votes counted.
Yeah,
West Virginia for Trump.
That's going to be a unique situation. I wouldn't doubt that one being reversed.
West Virginia went for Trump in 2016. So we're looking at Georgia, Ohio, Iowa, Utah, and Arizona. Those are going to be the money states. Everything else does not matter. So let's talk about Georgia, Ohio, Iowa, Utah, Arizona, and even Alaska are all battleground states this year.
Yeah, I would have a hard time believing that Alaska wouldn't be conservative. I mean, we'll see what happens with that, but
It's crazy. So Trump is smashing Biden in Florida, smashing Biden in Georgia. Again, 27%. They're not declaring it. Illinois, Biden, no shock.
I'm actually going to be very impressed if Trump wins the popular vote. That is something that a lot of liberals cried about in 2016. Is like, well, he didn't win the popular vote. There is a great opportunity for him to win the popular vote here tonight. So, pending how it plays out here to these Western states, and a lot of the Western states, actually, we already know are going to go Republican as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that popular vote turns out.
Yeah, I'd be extremely shocked if that happens.
He wins the popular?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
You don't think so? I agree.
I'll be shocked if he doesn't get smashed harder than he did last time in the popular vote.
You think? Because why do you think that people are so afraid to vote for Donald Trump?
Michigan is looking really good, though.
Yes, Michigan's looking great. Mississippi looking great. So a lot of people are saying suburban women are going to be responsible for Trump winning. You and I both are husbands of suburban women. Why do you think they say that?
Because there's more of them than there are of us.
True.
There's more women than men.
Yeah, so you look at Trump winning the popular vote by almost 1.7%, it's almost 2%. He's killing it. I mean,
how much
closing Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin.
But you got to look at the big population centers, like the Chicagos, like the New Yorks, and certainly California. So once those are all accounted for, I mean, I don't see how in those areas that he's going to make any kind of
good popular vote.
Yeah,
and he brings up New York. That's a key thing out of New York as well.
No,
there has been no time, and they have not mentioned the word New York at all. So
zero.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. And I was trying to look up some info on Iowa, and the only thing I could find was 30% of the polling places have been shuttered due to the Rona. So
Really?
I don't know how
So
that's
a third.
affecting anything. But
Good
again,
deal.
they also said that it was mainly in Democratic areas,
Why is that? We can get that another day.
in the heavier population centers like Des Moines and
Trump's going to bring Texas back to us, of course. Never doubted that whatsoever.
Well, Texas is close. They haven't called that yet. It's like 3% for Biden right now, but 53%, which means to tell me they have not counted the conservative areas yet. Virginia, Biden, they're saying now. West Virginia, Trump. So let's see. Let's go back to 2016 electoral map. So, okay. So Hillary won Virginia. Trump won West Virginia. So that's all concurrent. Arkansas, Trump won last time, I think. Louisiana or Arkansas. Yep. So Trump won Arkansas last time. So far, it's the same as the 2016 election. Georgia is going to be a big deal, in my opinion. Ohio is going to be a huge deal. Iowa, the Hawkeye State is going to be a big deal. Yeah. So we need Iowa to speak up. We've got nothing. Donald Trump beating Biden by 12.8% in Georgia. What is up with Iowa, Chad? You got anything?
no, I
Nothing.
haven't seen anything on it. No.
Zero data coming in from Iowa. If anybody can get us data from Iowa, we would appreciate it. It is a dead heat in the Electoral College right now. Roberto who, Christina? Only lost by 200,000
Oh,
Texas. What you got, Chad?
well, the polls don't even close until 10 p.m.
10
Eastern
p.m.
time.
Eastern Standard.
Yeah, Eastern.
In Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so 2 hours
Wow.
behind us, so that's why. Okay, fair enough. Maine, they have projected for Biden. I'm ashamed to have any blood from Maine right now. Facebook says, per Christian Moody, one of my old co-workers from plumbing, our link is broken. They're censoring us yet again, Mr. James. That's the second person
That's the
today.
second person that
Second
said
person today
that,
saying our Facebook link is broken.
but
Christian,
everyone
from
else
YouTube.
seems to be getting on just fine.
Oh, Beta O'Rourke. So, Christian, thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I'm on the live feed right now, so we're gonna, I'm gonna give Facebook. some
So,
credit
Christian,
here.
you like the page
We're on.
today, so you should be able to catch us on Facebook. Or people who don't like us yet don't see us. We've already figured that out. So, anyways, thank you for the heads up. Oh, okay. So, blah, blah. You're still on. Thank you, Mom, Christina, Beto O'Rourke. Okay, Roberto. Okay, Roberto is Beto. Got it. Yeah, that is scary that Beto O'Rourke only lost by 200,000 in the primaries in Texas because all the trio and hippies from California.
I think it's a good thing that both of us didn't know who she was referring to with Roberto, because I could care less about Beto O'Rourke. So I think that actually speaks as a positive to us that we didn't know
He's
who that was.
super great.
Well, that's a pretty new nickname for the guy, anyways. He didn't start
Beto
going by that. Yeah, he didn't even start going by Beto until he decided he was going to run for president. And he admitted the reason he went by it is to try and entice more of the Latino vote.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Latino
Yeah, a lot of
other than
pandering.
the old.
Just what does it say? He goes by Bob or Rob or something.
Yeah,
Something before that.
that's kind of scary. So at least we're still on Facebook. Christian, please let me know. Send me a screenshot if it says we are banned. This is probably our last podcast on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we'll be going to Apple and Google Podcasts after this.
Yeah, because Mark Zuckerberg's a really good guy. He's a great fella. Just
Yeah,
wanted to-
Zuck can
wanted to-
suck it. That's pretty much where I am
wanted
with
to
Zuck.
speak on
Great
Zuckerberg
guy.
there, and while we're at it, we can throw Dorsey in there as well. He's just a really stand-up guy. It
Oh, the Twitter CEO?
seems to
Great
be
guy.
looking out for for free speech and the First Amendment in the United States. So I really appreciate those guys.
Yep. So, Christina, you're right. Roberto Beto, I see what you're doing there. I did not know his name was Roberto O'Rourke. Now we know his name true name is Roberto, as he should be referred to, not Beto O'Rourke. He should be referred to as Beta O'Rourke. Yeah, you like that. So,
Sure. I mean, you really can't get you really can't get on to people like that because what happened was he sat down with his team.
Sure.
He had a PR firm sitting there,
Sure.
and they're like, "Look, man, this name's going to test better. It's going to get you more votes." So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
want to
no,
be
you
president,
Hey,
or you want to get ahead, man? You got to listen to what these people are telling you. I guess.
You're absolutely right. There's no telling how much money he spent on that kind of, research and development. So
They all do. I mean, there isn't one of them who didn't sit down in front of a focus group, with their people and figure out, the best way to move forward. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, it's a popularity contest, right? So
Sure.
you're going to sit down, like, what name do you like? What name sounds better? Which one do you relate to? I mean, they do that shit right down to the fucking ties that they wear.
Yeah, they're saying 93% win for Trump in Florida now. That is a
80
big
yeah,
deal.
89% reporting, and he is up by 2 points.
Ooh, but
Yeah.
Biden is going to win North Carolina. By
I don't think
89%.
so. Now we're going to see the comeback right here.
Oh.
We're going to see that comeback.
Well, so Trump's winning Maine, but they're saying Biden, even though Trump's up by 12%. Probably getting back to the reporting precincts.
Yeah.
Maryland, no shock, tree hugging hippies voting for Biden. Massachusetts again. Hey, Amy, I know you live up there. You need about 100 million more of me. Massachusetts for Biden. Michigan, Trump is working that
Wow,
ass.
man, he has
In
really worked
Michigan.
him over in Michigan. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 17.5% lead.
Wow, Michigan's really going to go to him. And listen, I'm gonna say that the numbers are going to be skewed like that or lopsided like that for Pennsylvania later too. So
Yeah, and
I mean,
a
they're
big
definitely
deal.
not calling it because they know Pennsylvania is going to be one of the biggest battleground states.
Yep,
But,
a big deal. Michigan was projected for Hillary in 2016, currently projected for Trump. North Dakota projected for Trump as he won in 2016.
North
based on
Dakota
that.
should definitely win. South Dakota should be like all the way Trump. There's no doubt about that.
New Hampshire for Biden right now. They're still not calling it.
I'm still hopeful for California. I know that sounds extremely
Crazy.
It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but we're gonna watch and see what happens.
I came over there and drank with y'all.
Yeah.
You would be living the good life. We have 3 minutes till the polls close, according to the matriarch of the Smith family.
And that is going to be
Iowa polls do not close until 10 a.m. Eastern, so we have another hour.
That is really odd that they. I mean, I guess
Is that correct? So they're 3 hours behind.
No.
No, that's just when the polls the
No, they
polls
just have a
close.
different standard for when the polls close. Yeah, which is very
Yeah.
odd.
Yeah, I mean they're only an hour back.
So right, that's what I thought. So they should close at 8. Yeah.
So now they're showing that Trump's closing in Delaware.
No, check it out. So if you go to the state level on the website and just swap out, say Georgia, and punch in Iowa, it tells you when the polls close.
All right. So what are we looking at?
That's it. 10 p.m. That's all it
10
says.
p.m. Okay, so she's right. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. All righty.
Nothing. But
Very,
no need to work, huh?
very interesting. We have somebody who's angry at our post. I'm going to see who that is. Go back to the social thing. Yeah, tell the truth. Let's go to our page. Somebody's mad at us. Who is mad at us? We have a mad face. We have Jeremy. Why are you mad, Jeremy? Jeremy, our guy, the dude, the man. Why are you mad, Jeremy? Jeremy, do you want to get on? Do you want to rant? I will let you on.
I totally want Jeremy to come on. I actually invited him on earlier. I was trying to get him to answer the phone. I'm going to jump on the. I don't want to be rude to anyone here, but
Yeah, Jeremy's angry about something. Polls are closing in Arizona. How are they closing in Arizona before Iowa, Chad?
look,
Arizona is
look
west
at this.
of Iowa,
Look at this.
Chad.
Whoa, look at this.
Because we want to give people ample time.
5 to 41.
Whoa. Slow down. Trump in DeKalb County, Georgia,
He's going to win the
55%.
cab.
I mean, if you look at the Georgia map, though, it's not really a big surprise. The places where he lost.
But what about DeKalb? We know that's hood.
Fulton, Gwinnett.
But DeKalb, Decatur.
Yeah, Fulton.
Right,
And then,
well,
Clayton.
hold on. All right, a minute. So how is Arizona closing before Iowa? Explain this, Chad.
Oh, fuck, dude. I didn't set the law.
Well, I mean, Arizona, Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin are all closing before your home state, the Hawkeye
I
state.
mean,
of
Georgia
Iowa.
closed at
How is
7.
that
But
happening, Chad?
Georgia closed at 7, and New York closes at 9.
Are you shitting me? Really? What link do you have? Send me the link to that. I want to link
Dude.
that.
Yeah, no.
Just send me the link. Yeah, I'll link it.
But you can see the empty map.
That is
Wow.
New York has not been reported. Chad brings up a good point. New York has not been reported. brother.
Maybe it's because Trump's going to pull New York.
You are crazy.
They're like, he fucking broke it.
I figured
Oh,
Chad could
shit.
laugh out of that one.
He's
Sorry, guys. Fun as my pocket twins crying and trying to get my
Missouri.
oldest to
Yep.
sleep, says Jeremy. My wife says
Well-
she can't watch my podcast because of bad words. Yes, you can.
Oh wait, I got a dirty mouth. Is that the problem?
It's probably Eric.
It's me. I said the F-bomb. I got banned from Facebook long ago.
Mm.
So we're going to go PG from here out. Try again, going PG. All right. So Chad sent me the link. Fox News, New York. So according to Fox News, I'm trying to get it open. New York. Yeah, you're right. So Hillary pulled it in 2016, Barack in 2012, Barack in 2008, and Biden is
Pennsylvania, they're calling 71 to 24. You
They're
gotta
high.
be
They're
kidding.
high. They're high. That's
You
why they haven't
gotta
called
be
it yet.
kidding.
So, in case
Murder,
anybody
I'd say.
did not know, there are 5 candidates for president: Biden, Trump, Hawkins, who are the F that is, Jorgensen, I know who she is, and then Pierce. So there is that.
Apparently, Pierce isn't going to make it. And,
Pierce ain't going to make it. Okay.
No,
Trump is currently winning Michigan. That is a good thing.
by landslide.
Yep, he's winning Michigan. Okay, so let's go to
Oh, we're going to get to see Minnesota here?
Minnesota.
They're not showing
Minnesota's
Minnesota.
not
Why
been called.
are you
Why?
not showing Minnesota? Oh,
Kansas
that's
has not
really-
been called. Louisiana has been called for Trump.
Yeah,
Trump
Louisiana
train.
just called for Trump. Of course, that's no surprise. Nebraska called for Trump. No surprise there.
Yeah,
I do
Trump.
want to see what happens. Minnesota's a key player here, so I do want to see what happens in Minnesota because they haven't had I don't think they've been Republican in
And
like
since forever.
50 years or something. So
Yeah,
Wyoming.
I'm curious to see
What?
after half their city got burnt the fuck down.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you what's funny about this electoral map I'm looking for 2016. Apparently Hillary Clinton won 322.
North Dakota, South Dakota, New York. Here we go, New York. Nothing. Okay, so they no data on New York. They just they called Colorado for Biden. Obviously, we knew that
Wouldn't
was
do
going
that.
to happen. So
New Mexico, no winner. So just to give y'all a reference, back in 2016, Hillary won New Mexico. Trump is currently winning by 4% in Florida. They say he's losing in Georgia by 6. No, is that 56%? Oh, he's winning in Georgia by 14%. Losing in Illinois, no shock. That's a Obama stronghold.
a guy named Hickenlooper just won.
Oh, Hickenlooper.
Yeah, he just won in Colorado over the incumbent Republican.
Really? The Democrat?
Yeah.
Ooh. Let's see what we're looking at.
Why are they saying? Look, they just said he's ahead of
58 to
James,
39,
but he's not.
basically.
But they're showing the exact opposite stat. Like, you know what I mean?
Trump's winning Louisiana, which he won in 2016.
Yeah.
No shock.
They're already calling it with 1% in.
Maine, Biden won last time, or Hillary won. There's been nothing Biden media yet that has changed from 2016. Maryland.
This is just like the last election, as a
It's
matter of
the
fact.
last
I mean,
election
literally, it's
to a
just
T.
like. Let's go back to This is just like the last election. Let's don't forget about Chad there.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. Pretty sure James should call for a landslide earlier on Facebook from Justin Brett White.
Oh yeah. Hey Justin, don't you worry about it. It's going to be a landslide election.
Justin, Eric Smith said on Facebook, and I quote, Donald Trump would win the popular vote by 3 to 5%, which he's currently doing, sir. And it would ultimately be decided because of the mail-in ballots on the Supreme Court.
Well,
3 to 5% is a landslide.
I think we're looking at. I'm literally going to go further than that. I'm going to say 8 to 10% Trump wins
Whoa.
the total. Yeah,
Whoa.
he's going to win the electoral vote. 8 to 10% total landslide victory. I'm not sure why anybody thinks it's going to be close.
Here we go. We got visitors.
Are you done with the podcast?
No.
Can you come help me with this?
In a second.
New Jersey is being called for Biden. Obviously, that's not
Ohio.
no kind
Trump
of
is currently
surprise. Ohio, they're still not calling it though. I think Trump comes back to win Ohio. I wouldn't see how he would lose Ohio.
No.
Oklahoma, he's obviously going to win. They're already calling that one. Pennsylvania. So all right. So here we go. So Trump's numbers picking up in Pennsylvania from 70 to 12 now to 70 to 25. So that's why they're obviously not calling Pennsylvania. Rhode Island, there's no surprise there for Biden. South Carolina,
Florida, 90%.
South Carolina.
Trump's winning. That's the key.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
key.
South Carolina, Trump's going to win.
Trump's
Looks
back
like.
in Florida.
So yeah, pretty much everything we expected to happen up until this point.
I'll leave you and chat with it. I'll be right back in 1 minute.
Yeah, so Tennessee, no surprise there with Trump. As we move out to the western states, though, when we talk about maybe Arizona, so Arizona's traditionally been a red state, and
people.
and Chad, what's your thoughts on Arizona this election?
Probably the same as it always is. And be honest with you, I don't, because I mean, old people are still moving there.
Yeah, that's pretty much just to go get to the warm. So
It's a nice place to retire, apparently.
it is. Nevada's going to be interesting this year, I think. I mean, traditionally it would, not be in the favor of the conservatives, but
Yeah, that's going to be tricky. With them shutting down Vegas, and
that's
kind
kind
of
of an interesting point here for the West Coast, mainly those Midwest to West Coast cities. I mean, it's going to be like, how much did the shutdowns influence the people, their decision making when it came to the elections? I mean, obviously for local politicians, I would be extremely upset if my local politician shut it down so that I couldn't go to the store, I couldn't go to the hair salon, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. And so yeah, I'll be pretty anxious to see, and that's why I'm very hopeful about California. Obviously, I'm going out on a limb.
yeah, it's hard to say because I think you got, a couple different camps and a couple different trains of thought when it comes to how people are perceiving, the coronavirus
Yeah,
and just how dangerous and deadly it is. Because you do have a lot of people who, they're the ones who are driving around in their car with their mask on.
yeah.
Which, if that's what you want to do, fine. It's not hurting anybody. But, if you have a lot of people who are like that, they're going to view these lockdowns as a necessity rather than a hindrance, right? So, I think it's just going to boil down to, if people had loved ones who had died, from complications of that virus or that disease versus, folks who lost their businesses and they lost their jobs or having, struggling paying bills. So, it's kind of hard to predict which camp people are going to fall into, right? So,
Yeah.
If you got a
it's
lot of people.
interesting to see. I mean, I even noticed it where we live here in Georgia. I mean, it's the amount of males, I'll say, that are driving around with masks on in their car by themselves, or that, very promptly put it on when they exit their car to walk across a parking lot to go into any kind of convenience store or a grocery store or anything like that. It's extremely surprising to me. And, you know, it really makes me question, like, what kind of influence will they have on their voting because of this? Because they seem to be so easily influenced into conforming to something that someone tells them to do. And it's to be honest with you, I really had a lot more faith, I think, in humanity than it really turns out to be exposing itself to me. I mean,
I think it's ridiculous. You know, folks walking around wearing masks. I mean, it's dumb. However, if you think that businesses can dictate the policy, you know, they can tell you what you must do to enter their store. If they say, "Hey, look, to come in here, you need to wear a mask," I mean, you got to respect that, right? I mean, you can't side, you know, and this is one of those things that I think Eric and I had talked about, where you just like with the baker out wherever, where they sued him, so he would have to make a cake for the gay couple, right?
yeah,
So you had the one team saying, "Well, no, it's his business, or you know, it's their business. They can do whatever they want. You know, they can set the standards. They can decide who, you know, who they cater to, who they sell to." But now you have those same group of people saying, "Well, it's their business. They can't tell me to wear a mask.
yeah,
They can't do that." It's like, well, no, either they can or they can't. I mean, you can't pick and choose that they have the liberty or they have the authority to determine who or who doesn't come into their store, right? So that leaves us as the consumer. If you think it's a stupid policy, don't go there.
no, I agree with that, because I'm the exact same way. I don't go there actually, and I've not gone to a lot of places because of the mask policy. But I wanted to ask you this: do you think it's cross party lines? I mean, to me, I'll give you my opinion on it. I see most conservatives that I know have nothing to do with the mask, and they're done with COVID, and they're starting to realize that they fully believe that they've been lied to a certain degree or scammed on. And I don't really see that out of Democrats. I mean, Democrats seem to just wholeheartedly be right for it. And so it really seems to be across party lines to me, where I see conservatives really leaning less, you know, towards mask, where I see the left side leaning more towards it.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, their diet of news or their source of news.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking at one particular channel, or you're in your echo chamber, and all people are doing is saying it's going to kill you, you know, and early on, I understood that it was new. You know, we didn't know anything about it, but
apparently Eric's got the coronavirus
I
right
got
now.
the Rona.
you got the Rona. You got to wear your mask, bro. But you know, early on, it made sense to be cautious and be careful because we didn't have any data on it.
Yeah.
But now, where you're starting to see that, I mean, it is serious to an extent. I mean, if you're older, you have these pre-existing conditions that make you more susceptible to it. You know, those people do have legitimate concerns, but for, you know, the other 99 point whatever percent of the population who's going to be fine, likely, you know, it's kind of a, you kind of got to walk the tightrope there, I guess. I mean, you know, if you have it and you give it to your 90-something-year-old grandmother, you know, chances are, you know, that in conjunction with whatever else she has going on is probably going to take her down a little bit sooner than you would have liked. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the course, you know, the way to go with it. I just know that, you know, when we go out, if they don't want us, you know, if they say you don't wear a mask, we don't usually wear one. Yeah. If they say, you know, at the grocery store, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, it's not hurting anybody. So you just look stupid, and then you get a little hot for the, you know, 10 minutes that you're in the store, you know, no big deal. But, you know, there have been instances where we've gone out to eat, you know, to a restaurant, and they want you to wear a mask, you know, walking through the door. But once you get at your table, somehow it's magically okay to take it off. So, you know, that kind of shit doesn't make any sense. And I think that's where a lot of people wind up having problems with it, is the consistency of it. You know, with a lot of the data that's coming out, I think a lot of that's clouded, and nobody really has the full picture on it. So it's hard to say, you know, which direction or which camp a lot of people are going to fall into.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand. I have my own beliefs about it, and it's sometimes it's difficult to look at it from someone else's perspective, I guess. I'm a little more skeptical of anything that's being told to me by a mass, media outlet, or by just by a mass outlet in general, being the government, being Fauci, being anyone like that that's telling me you need to do something when I'm not actually seeing it on the street. I mean, this is something that's going on. I still don't know anyone that has COVID or has gotten it or that has any like bad symptoms of it. I mean, I know people that have said they have a family member that's had a positive test, but I don't know anyone that's actually had any symptoms of it. I don't know anyone that's had, a bad, case of it or anything like that. And so, I mean, obviously it's going to leave me skeptical as we're moving into like month 8, of this whole situation. And at this point, I would have thought I would at least come in contact with someone. And that's after not having changed anything about my daily activity. I mean, I don't wear a mask. I don't like sanitize my, hands with unnecessarily with hand sanitizer. I don't do any of this stuff. As a matter of fact, I do less of it now because of because of COVID. So just to see if it's going to actually happen. And it's just everyone that I see that goes about their daily business the way they always have. I just don't see they don't have any side effects of it. They don't seem to contract it at any kind of expressed rate or anything like that. So, yeah, to me, it's just been one of those things that's if I were to look at it from my narrow point of view, it would seem like an entire scam. Well, I don't know anyone,
I mean, the company I worked for before, we had 4 people positive tests, and they were pretty sick for a couple days. Yeah. It was pretty rough for them, but ultimately they recovered. I've had a handful of friends who have caught it. Yeah. All from that same from the same place. And after a couple days, they were fine. Said, it was rough. I felt like shit for 2 or 3 days, but everything's okay now. My wife's had, some 30-something people at her job test positive for it. And most of them were just fine afterwards. So, I think one of the problems with the COVID testing itself is all it means is you test positive for a coronavirus.
Yeah.
A coronavirus. I mean, that's a pretty broad term there because the common cold is a coronavirus. We've always had. Yeah, well, exactly, because the common cold is a coronavirus. So,
I mean, like what you just said, the absurdity in that is ridiculous, right? We've always had coronavirus. We've always tested for it. Now they're saying that there's no specific test for COVID-19. It's just for coronavirus in general. It's the same thing we've always done. I don't understand, like, why the hype?
Well,
because they can't prove it, just as we can't prove it that it's not a real thing. They can't really prove that it is a real thing.
I thought that if they were able to identify COVID-19 through blood testing, is that not true? I don't know.
I'm not sure that. I just know the testing that the general public gets is not blood testing. So
no.
So the numbers that have been recorded obviously are fabricated if you want to look at it from that regard, because coronavirus is something that's been around for 60, 70 years. So,
well, yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're fabricated, but they're it's certainly muddy because it's not specific enough, and it doesn't get down into the weeds where we need to be to determine just how just how serious or how deadly something is. I mean, if you're just going with where you're painting something with a broad brush and saying, well, no, it's a coronavirus.
Yeah.
The common cold, I mean, that's not going to fucking kill anybody.
Yeah.
Not unless you're severely immunocompromised to begin with.
Which seems to be what's happening with the deaths that they have from COVID-19 is that people that are severely compromised. I mean, so they're very similar.
Yeah. Like, when they were trying to go on the big kick to tell everybody that young people were just as susceptible to it and, at just the same risk that somebody, some fat old person, right? Yeah. Where they said that, a 22-year-old male died of coronavirus in Florida. The health department lady gets up in front of the news cameras down there, and somebody says, okay, well, what underlying conditions did they have? And the lady responds, well, none. He died in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The fuck? Yeah. And she comes back and says, well, we don't know if, some symptom of the coronavirus caused him to wreck his motorcycle. And it's like,
Well,
are you-
not
are
just
you
that.
fucking
I
kidding
mean,
me?
like they've openly admitted that it's just dying with coronavirus. It has nothing to do with dying from a complication of coronavirus.
Yep.
So, to me, it's just absolutely absurd. But I do think that it plays a part in this election. Even, I mean, I think, like you said, I think you're going to have a lot of people that they're willing to overlook that they can't go to the store and get food, that they can't go to church, that they can't go to get-togethers, they can't do this because they really believe that they're going to die if they go outside of their home. And they're willing to vote for these people again because supposedly they kept them safe. Whereas I know that I've done nothing to keep myself safe and I'm completely fine. And I don't know a soul that's died from it.
Yeah.
What was the poll we saw earlier? So there's a poll on the news station we're watching.
Wait, New York's been called for Biden.
No.
No. 19% of people know somebody that died from COVID. 81% do not.
Yeah.
Poll speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, here's another article that came out recently where they were, asking the folks who were getting positive tests, and over 70% said that they religiously wear their masks, and they still wound up getting the Rona anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
So, yeah, I don't know.
So Trump is spanking South Carolina right now, which is a big deal because he won it in 2016. So if you want Trump to win the election, Florida needs to go his way. Georgia,
Looks like both of those will. North Carolina.
iffy.
I still think
we
Pennsylvania's
need the
gonna
great
turn
state of
around.
Iowa to go his way.
Ohio should definitely go his way, even though they're not wanting to report that right now. And he's closed the gap in Texas like we thought he would.
But he
So-
should. He was red, and he better be red because if he loses Texas, we are screwed. Vermont was strong Democrat in 2016, no big deal. Even though Trump is up by 18%, I don't know. Again, going back to Chad, West Virginia was strong Republican last time. Trump is winning. Wisconsin, too close to call, 49.1 to 49.3.
But it's weird because
You said South Carolina didn't have early voting?
they don't have early voting. They can only vote today.
Really?
Yeah.
Huge deal. I heard that.
Yeah. South Carolina, apparently the only day you can vote is the old fashioned way today.
Interesting. Very interesting. That's a big deal. Who is going to show up? I think that's going to speak to the country, honestly.
Yep.
How everybody's feeling. Connecticut, no shocking. Big deal. I feel bad for my son who lives there right now. Delaware, no shocking. That's Biden's home state.
The hell's he doing in Connecticut?
Yeah, the whole Navy thing.
Oh, that's where they got him?
Yeah, Groton, Connecticut. Super great place to live. Said nobody ever. Georgia. Oh, Trump is spanking that ass.
Georgia and Florida is going to definitely go to Trump for sure.
That's a big deal. If Trump does big in Georgia, I think that's a big deal. I do.
What? If what?
Trump is up by 14% in Georgia with like 50% reporting. So if he wins big in Georgia, that's a big deal.
He's up 3.5% in Florida with 91% reporting. So
Yeah, that's going to be that court battle I told you
Yeah.
about. They're going to argue it in court, the mail-in ballots. I'm telling you.
I mean, you really only expected, places like Cobb and Gwinnett and Fulton.
Yeah.
Those are going to be
Sure.
Democrat
Sure.
voters, right? So
Sure.
everywhere else, not so much. I mean, if you're looking at the map,
Right. Yeah,
you
good
know,
old
there's
where
no
I
county
am.
reporting.
Yeah, super conservative.
Yeah, I mean,
Maine, shout out to my family for losing that state. Good job. Let's see. I think Biden won that. Okay, Clinton won that back in the day in 2016.
oh, that's interesting.
What?
So looking at the map for Georgia, right? Pull up
Yeah.
Baldwin. And what? There's like 1,100 people who have voted
Yeah.
so far is what they're reporting at 10%. when we walked into that church right there on 92.
Yeah.
That's where our polling station was. I was vote 362, and we went in there. We went in there at 5:00.
5:00, and you were the only 362nd vote of the day.
Yeah, I think there was one other person in there voting. There was some guy. He was standing around. I don't know what the fuck he was doing besides blocking the door. But
Wow.
yeah, so we walked right in, walked right out.
Wow. Interesting. North Dakota, Trump is projected to win. Nebraska, he is projected to win.
Yeah.
He's currently losing. He won Nebraska back in the day. Man, this looks like 2016.
Yeah, I'm. Obviously, early on, it's such a disadvantage for us trying to do a cast when we're looking at this early on because it's going to be just like it was last time. I think it was 3 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning before Hillary conceded the election last time, and even though they knew he had won already around 12:30 or 1:00. So
Trump's spanking Florida.
There won't be a concession from anybody tonight.
Oh yeah, no
I think
way.
you're right, 100% correct analysis.
Guarantee it's gonna. Lawyers will be involved to decide this. There's no question.
So, do you think it's going to go to the SCOTUS, or do you think it'll be a lower court?
That I have no idea. I'm not even going to pretend to understand how that process works.
Biden's losing his lead in Pennsylvania, which
He
we
is getting that
expected
ass
because
spanked.
that's the early voting showing up. So,
Yep.
no surprise there. It's not
Nope.
not something I'm surprised by.
Nope. So, South Carolina, Trump is winning, which is good because did he win it in 2016? He did. So he needs to win that. North Carolina, Trump is close. He lost that in 2016. It's going to be interesting, man. Oh, and here we have the good old dude by himself on Fox News with a mask on because he is scared of his own shadow.
How are people going to know he's virtuous unless he's
Hey, you got to signal it, bro. You're like, bro, I care about you because I have a mask on.
Yeah.
Even though you're by yourself, I care.
None of the people in the polling place were wearing them. They were just
No,
behind.
what you need to do on Fox News, the dudes y'all are watching, there's multiple people behind this moron, and they have no mask on.
They were just all lined up behind like spit guards.
Yeah, they're waving. They're like, hey, hello. Yeah. Too early to call for Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota. That's interesting.
Oh, let's see. There you go.
Wisconsin.
Now they're notifying Iowa closes at 10.
Iowa now is being notified to close in 33 minutes. I'm trying to figure that out. They must be west of the central time zone.
They're not. They just have late polls.
Okay. They're all about the people getting the vote. But Iowa's a big deal.
The geography has not changed.
Okay. Well, Iowa's a big deal. And we all knew Biden was going to win Colorado and Connecticut. No big deal. Oh, dude, this election will not be decided. I said it in my post earlier this week. I think the Supreme Court will decide this election. Trump is dominating in Florida with 91% in. Matt Torrance is a Democratic. I don't know who Matt is or a Democratic.
What's that?
Jason Thompson, Matt Torrance is Democratic.
Matt is definitely not a Democrat.
Oh, so Matt's not a Democrat.
No,
Go Matt.
Jason must be facetious right now.
He's being facetious.
some way.
Okay.
So,
Dude, this thing is, we could go till
yeah.
6 a.m. tomorrow, and I don't think any of us are going to know. Trump's winning Kentucky, which is good. Did Trump win Kentucky in 2016? He did.
Louisiana.
Remember,
I mean,
that was
these are-
projected for Biden earlier.
Yeah, these are.
Maine, God almighty, my bloodline failing me. Maryland. Okay, again, that went for Hillary back in the day.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
this is
they're
all
just-
going to
they're
come down to swing states.
So they're so slow counting votes right now. I mean, there's no no form of even remotely knowing what's going to happen.
No, zero. All right, Chad. So it is now 9:30 Eastern time. What is your prediction for the election based on what you see right now? If you had to bet money on it, what are you seeing?
We've got, man, I don't know. I think Trump's pissed a lot of people off.
Okay.
I think he's alienated, a good bit of people. But
Do you think he's done that, or do you think they're just like weak-minded people that get alienated really easily?
no, I mean, I think you get to a point where at first it's funny, when he gets up there and says, I have the largest crowd ever, or I have the largest ratings ever, or I have this or I have that, when it's obviously not true. But like at first the shit was kind of funny to me. And I'm, just kind of a little background. I was always a fan of Trump, from like a business perspective.
Sure.
I enjoyed his TV show, The Apprentice and all that shit back when it was on. Voted for him last time. I voted for him this time. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, especially after watching that first debate, like, I wish we could have got somebody else
Sure.
to pick from, because
Sure.
on paper, he does, his ideas and his policies on paper is good. I just think it's the messaging and the implementation that gets to be a little bit much. And I get it. I mean, I think he might be one of the most prolific trolls of all time, because the guy knows how to get people riled up. But I mean, at some point, if we could just get down to business and you don't have to worry about all the bickering and all the fighting and the 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year of, trying to play gotcha. I mean, that kind of grates on you a little bit, and I think there's a lot of other people who, they're going to vote just because they're tired of seeing it. They're tired of it. They don't care.
That's a
if it's
one-way
beneficial.
street. I mean, I guess that's what I was getting at. Like, I think he's been attacked 24/7.
Yeah, no, he has.
So, I mean, like, for responding to someone or for trying to clear your name, he's almost being punished for it.
Yeah, in a way. I don't think he helps his case with his Twitter machine usage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he does go out of his way to rile shit up, and I think that a lot of the good that he's done has gotten lost in the fact that he likes to push the people's buttons. Certainly, and I don't. I keep seeing. I've been looking at this quote from Dennis Miller that he posts up, every so often, for the last 4 years, where I don't think the Democrats have handled the loss of the election as well as they could have. I just think that he could have gotten a lot more done if, you don't have to be a politician, and walk that straight line that they do, but I think you got to be a little bit better at playing the game, to where you're not distracting from all the good shit that you have done. Because, in the first debate where they gave him a softball down the middle, it's like, do you denounce the KKK or whatever the fuck? And he didn't answer the question. Right now, I get it. There's an hour's worth of video from the last election cycle of him doing nothing but denouncing white supremacy and the KKK, over the last 20, 25 years, 30 years, whatever, that he's been in the public eye. So again, it's something that he's already done over and over and over again. But when they throw you a softball, right? Just hit the goddamn thing. Like, don't go out of your way to play dumb or to try and incite people when that's all they're going to focus on, right? Like, he could have gave the best performance ever in that debate and not, kowtowed and played the game a little bit on that question. And that's all they were going to focus on regardless, right? So, I feel like he could play the game a little bit better, and I think that turns a lot of people off. And again, it kind of goes back to, the tribalism, and then, some people are always going to vote, for their team regardless. But I think you do have a lot of people who are moderate, who are more in the center of everything, Like myself, I mean, socially, I've always kind of been, I guess a little more, I mean, I can't really say liberal about it because I really don't give a fuck what other people do, right? As long as it's not hurting anybody. But, fiscally and other type of policy, I'm more conservative with it. But, there's a lot of people like me
why
who,
the other candidates not hold to that same, so if that's actually hurting Trump, I wonder why the other candidates not held to that same standard.
no, I mean, that's obvious.
Like if he's not attractive but the other person's just totally not attractive, I just don't understand why that standard's not the same, if the voters are looking at it from that perspective. Like, why does Trump have to over exceed and excel at something when the other guy doesn't have to do anything?
Because when you look at who owns those media outlets, you're already working against a stacked deck.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So that's where you need to have a little more savvy and be able to navigate that world, because you already know the deck's stacked against you. So you're going to, the rules of the game, that it's rigged to a point. That's why you can't.
Do you think he just feels like he's like giving in to him if he does that, though? That he's just playing the
not necessarily, because I mean, I don't think that you need to placate or kowtow to him, but you don't need to go out of your way to give him a stupid sound clip either, right? Yeah. Or you don't have to go on Twitter and say something dumb to where they can go, and run it on a 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that you need to help them, right? So, I wish he was a little bit better, in that regard, because again, you're absolutely right. The other side is not going to be held accountable. All the crooked shit Obama pulled and all the dumb shit that we're not going to find out about, for another 30, 40 years. Yeah. Once some of those documents start leaking out and kind of the shine is worn off. But, I mean, they're not going to be held to the same standard. You saw that with the New York Post.
I just wonder why voters don't look at policy more than they look at somebody speaking nicely. To me, that's like extra weakness, and that just shows kind of where our society's going, that they're really looking for someone that will say nice things to you more than they will that actually does something.
Well, I don't think you need to say nice things, right? I mean, you can still be blunt and you can still come down, shoot straight with people, but you don't need to go out of your way, to give them, any more ammunition, right? Like if somebody says, "Hey, do you think white supremacy is bad?" and you don't answer the question, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of shit that I'm talking about. Like you don't have to bow down and say, "No, reparations, this and that," but don't give them, that ammo that they're going to run. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about briefly on that social dilemma, right? Not everybody's news feed is created equal.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got a lot of people in this generation and in this day and age, they're only getting their news from their Facebook feed or their Twitter feed, or, half of them get the shit from a meme. Right. Yeah. So, they're not seeing the whole picture. So when you're helping them flood that news feed with, look at the dumb shit he said today. Right. Like you're not helping your cause. And you're taking away from the good stuff that you have done because you already know, media and the social media, it's all stacked against you.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to placate. It's like me when I'm at work. I'm nice to everybody, but if I was trying to worry about not hurting somebody's feelings, I couldn't do my job, right? Yeah. I deal with truckers and you got to be firm with them, but you got to be fair. And you can't give people, ammunition. I mean, you can still, I don't know, you can still not be a jackass and say dumb shit and without having to bow down and wash somebody's feet, right? So,
sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like it's going to go well into the morning before we have a result.
Absolutely.
So, you good wrapping it up?
Yeah, we can wrap up right here. I think
we're like 4 hours in or so.
Yeah.
Almost 4 or 3 hours.
Almost 3 hours.
We've done well. So, Chad, thank you. Jason, thank you. The new logo.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. especially being able to throw it on the screen back here and have
Yeah.
it broadcast behind us has
Yeah.
it's been really nice. But yeah, Chad, thanks for all your commentary, man. That's a perspective and way to look into things here. We'll keep up with how the event's going, and if something becomes crazy or it becomes any form of newsworthy relay, we'll make sure that we jump back online here and we send it over to you guys. So,
Yep. So again, appreciate it, Chad.
Yes, sir.
Your family, we love you. We appreciate you. And people are emotional instead of voting based on policy. Yes, because Trump is so mean.
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, everybody take it easy and thank you for what you do for us. We appreciate you. We love you.
Peace out.